College football is finally here for Eastern Michigan and Eastern Kentucky. The season begins for the Colonels and the Eagles. A warm night here in Ypsilanti in southeast Michigan. We welcome you inside Rynerson Stadium. Dan Gutowski along with former Michigan standout Marcus Ray. Marcus, the first game of the season always brings a huge adrenaline rush. Let's talk first about Eastern Michigan. They've got a really nice blend of returning talent from last year and some very good talent that's coming in that should contribute.
Well, you want to talk about returning talent, you have to start with wide receiver Hassan Beydoun. He's not big in stature, but he puts up big numbers. This guy set a school record last year at 97 receptions. The former walk-on. He lines up all over the field, had a handful of touchdowns. He's good for a first down every time he touches the football. Look for him to be sought after early and often. And then when you talk about coming in, the transfer portal was very good to Eastern Michigan. Chase Klein, a 6'4", 230-plus pound linebacker, built like a defensive end. He's played a lot of football when he played at Michigan State. Transferred here in January. He's had a monster impact, named the captain. He can blitz, he can cover. He's going to be one of the best in this conference.
And let's flip it now and take a look at the Colonels from the Atlantic Sun. A really solid team, Marcus, but their preparation for this game went sideways on Sunday when head coach Walt Wells suffered a cardiac arrest. The good news is he's home recuperating, and they're moving forward with Gary McPeak in the role of acting head coach. They're in very good hands. He called himself a conductor this week. The staff is intact. They're good. The game plan is solid. He's just kind of managing and trying to keep the train moving in the right direction.
Yeah, 30 years plus coaching. You see he's been around the program. He's bought in. He's added that administrative background from his days in education. So he understood how to manage crisis and kept those troops together and got those Colonels up here and ready to play.
And our best wishes to Coach Wells. The last word we got is that he's home, out of the hospital, starting his recuperation process. So they're obviously anxious to keep him on that path going forward. Here's our series history. They've played before, and the Eagles are still looking for their first win. You go back to 1971. Have you ever played in a 0-0 tie ever in your football career?
I think my first game, 1983, 7 years old. And I was glad to see that they eliminated those ties when I played college football down the street here in Ann Arbor. So we'll see. I doubt if this one finishes up 0-0, and they won't let them anyway.
Eastern Michigan wins the coin toss. They're kicking, and the Colonels will go on offense and try to set the tone early. Always important for the road team to get into some rhythm and tempo early. Parker McKinney is their starting quarterback. Transfer from, no, sorry, he's not a transfer. He's been in this program and has been very solid. They like his style. It's a little bit more run-oriented than he is passing-oriented. He's very good at both. Eastern's going to have to keep an eye on him tonight.
Yeah, 60% completion rate. They call design runs for him, but he can make plays with his feet as well as his arm. And see those 24 interceptions. One of their goals is taking care of the football tonight.
So from the 25, little quick throw on first down, complete to that far sideline. Forced out of bounds. Jaden Higgins, the sophomore. There are two Jadens in the receiving core for this Colonels team, Jaden Smith and Jaden Higgins. So we'll probably announce them by last name going forward. Short gain out to the 29-yard line, brings up second down and 6. Play fake, a lot of time in the middle, tipped and incomplete. Oh, that is almost a should have been pick. Underthrown, that's Chase Klein. We're calling his number a lot. Chase wishes he had held on to that ball for sure.
Yeah, we see big number 6, Klein, right there in the middle. Did a great job of not biting on the run fake. Played his hook to curl zone area drop. Big fella wish he could have had that back in his debut here in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, not sure how catchable that ball was, but at least he did enough to deflect it. Third and long now for the Colonels. Little time, little deep throw in the middle and caught in stride. Complete for a Colonel's first down. Nice grab on the run.
You want to talk about
Allen.
You want to talk about a big-time tight end, Dakota Allen. He's a great player. Watch the focus in traffic, catching the ball with his hands, splitting the defense down the middle of the field, not afraid to take a shot. They are high on this young man. He's a great player, all-conference guy. We could have talked about him in the open just as well. He may be the best tight end in all of FCS.
Allen is the guy who gets the engines revved up offensively for the Colonels from the 40. They'll keep it on the ground and run. This is Braden Sloan with his first carry. He may get a couple yards, but it's not much.
With that front four with them Eagles, with Truman and Crawford, Merritt, and those guys, we're going to talk about Big Ramirez, the defensive end. Those guys are very stout versus the run. They have a lot of experience. Expect the Colonels to run the ball to keep them honest, but they're not going to try to line up and pound too often.
That 31-yard pass play sets it up. Quarterback keep, and they'll run outside and get positive yardage. There's McKinney calling his own number, getting inside the 35.
And that's one of the things, Dan, that you're going to see is he had the option to hand that ball off. He read the defensive end and decided to pull it. And when you have a quarterback who can move the sticks a little bit, keeps your offense in third and manageable.
3rd down and 4. Game time temperature 81 degrees. It's a fairly warm night here in Southeast Michigan. Play fake, quick toss, and caught, and a great open field tackle. Forced out of bounds after the catch. Well, they're already chirping at each other, I think. Allen makes the catch, but it's the push out tackle made that is going to make really things look very good for Eastern.
Well, you see the RPO action, and McKinney had the option to hand the ball off, or that time instead of running, he threw it to his tight end, Dakota Allen, with his second reception. As they go for it, he on 4th down. Watch the hard count up front.
That was Blake Bogan on the stop for Eastern. Little pump fake and caught for a conversion and a 1st down pickup. The Colonels connect. They go to Jaden Higgins. Safe throw, smart throw, 1st down EKU.
And you can see early here. Watch the play fake. That's a read. And he has an option. That's why it's called RPO, a run pass option. It's not for the quarterback to always run it. He can hand it off on a run to the running back, and it freezes the defense. Eastern Michigan's probably going to have to move their corners up to press coverage to take away the quick throws. Right now they're playing 8-9 yards off the football.
Colonels are at the Eastern 26 on their opening drive of the season. McKinney, a lot of time in the pocket. Now he's going to run and take it down himself inside the 20. Again, heads up runner. Good feet, positive yardage for the Colonels.
Well, that was a good decision, and Eastern Michigan now is playing a lot of zone coverage. And this offensive line for the Colonels playing without their starting center. And here's the deal. That was a good read. He has all day to throw the football. When you get this close to the end zone in the red zone, you want to take care of the football and get what you can get, take what the defense gives you.
2nd down and 4 at the Eastern Michigan 20. On the ground is Sloan, who spins and falls ahead down to almost the 15. We talked about Tucker Schroeder. We were expecting to see him as their starting center. Instead, he's in street clothes. If we find out exactly why that change was made, we'll certainly pass it along. But that's a little bit of a mystery right now to Eastern Kentucky fans. 3rd down and 2. 10th play of this opening drive. McKinney hands off to Sloan, and I think he is not quite there.
That spot's going to be interesting. McKinney, he actually stuck that football out, and that freezes the defense. So their RPO game is looks like it's their early game plan, and it's keeping the Eagles defense on their heels. Looks like they did pick up that 1st down.
He gets the spot, and the Colonels have a fresh set of downs from the Eastern Michigan 16. One big play got the Colonels into Eastern territory. They're still moving. McKinney throwing an out route, caught. Turning back in, and stopped at about the 10-yard line. Again, we haven't seen but one real aggressive play downfield. Wideout losing his helmet. That's Jaden Higgins.
Offensive player numbers 9, helmet came off. Must leave the game. One play.
Well, after the big play down the middle, Dan, that'll make a secondary loosen up and start to play a little softer. Dakota Allen caught that big pass down the middle, and now that secondary now is playing on their heels, deeper coverages, cover 4, as you see 4 guys across, and that opens up the short passing game.
That's a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4 there at the 10. Play fake, McKinney rolls, and zone intercepted. In that corner, Eastern Michigan takes it away. And another big play turned in by Blake Bogan. He had the big tackle early, and now the pick in the end zone keeps them off the board. Our first time out, Eastern Michigan football when we come back.
Time out of the field.
To Ypsilanti.
We're going to take a look here. We're back. Let's watch the play fake. A very errant throw. I think it was a poor choice by Parker McKinney to throw that ball in coverage down inside the red zone. Costly turnover. They moved the ball extremely well. You see the celebration. Doing the old Antonio Brown dance. That's pretty popular now. Everyone's doing it. But that's Blake Bogan, just playing heads-up football. I'll tell you what, when you play that position at safety and you can read the quarterback, when he rolls out, you roll over there with him. And they threw him a freebie. He caught the ball.
Well, moral victories don't count for much. A 12-play, 65-yard drive that ends up in 0 points, but at least you have established, Marcus, your offense can move the ball. Let's see what the Eagles can do here as they started on 1st and 10, a quarterback keep. That's Taylor Powell running for not much for Eastern Michigan as that play did not develop.
Looks like a little miscommunication there. Powell looked like he wanted to run a little bit of RPO. You see his numbers, 66% completion guy last season at Troy. Didn't play a whole lot. Found a new home here in Ypsilanti. See if this offense favors his skill set a little better.
That's a no gain on 1st down, so 2nd and 10. On the ground, and there is not much there. Maybe 1 yard for Bryson Moss. And Eastern Michigan's a little bit out of rhythm right now. Sorry, that's Samson Evans on the carry. Brings up 3rd and 8 after a gain of 2. Powell from Fayetteville, Arkansas, as he's really positioning this Eastern play right here. Got a lot of time. Deep ball sideline, tipped and incomplete. Working on that far sideline. And they come up empty, a 3 and out for Eastern Michigan. So,
and you'll see here in this replay, John Blunt, number 1, he got his hands on that football. That was great coverage, and it looked like Eastern was out of sync on that first drive. The communication seemed like it was a little lacking and hesitant, not sure what they wanted to do, and it actually showed. Surprised that offensive line couldn't get any more push up front. That's a veteran group. It's big fellas up front. So it's week 1. You want to come out crisp, but when you have a new quarterback sometimes in a real game, it may not click right away, Dan.
Mitchell Tomasek is the punter for Eastern tonight. This is a kind of one of those question marks. Chris Creighton's not sure how solid this aspect of Eastern special teams is. That's a decent punt. It does not get a bounce, and it's Colonels football when we come back. No score early on as we continue from Eastern Michigan. No score here in our first quarter at Rynerson Stadium here in Ypsilanti. And let's take a look at what else is coming up on our MAC football schedule. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, the Bobcats of Ohio are home against Florida Atlantic. So the Bobcats and the Owls, a 6 o'clock kick. Chris Creighton, well, what a nice uphill journey it's been for Eastern Michigan football since he's got here. His 8th year. First couple of years were nothing to brag about, but he's brought them to a level of stability that they have really or never had here at Eastern.
Yeah, he changed the culture. He walked into a mess, to say the least, and I would say he cleaned it up. You talk about going to 4 bowl games, creating a winning culture here in Ypsilanti, and right now his defense is out there flying around trying to continue that culture.
Creighton Sloan on that carry, and yeah, Creighton says, hey, look, you know, it was tough here. He talked about the step up in how this program improved. It started with just getting a coffee pot in the football offices. Then they, you know, continue to kind of upgrade with the coffee pot. They go to the Curie machine, things like that. So, yeah, that's how this program has evolved. Deep throw, kind of a throwaway toss there by Parker McKinney. So nobody open downfield, and he wisely just sends it into, you know, section 14. 3rd and 7. They converted 2 of 3 third downs in that first drive. So far, this Colonel's offense has been fairly poised.
I think they need to get back to the short passes. You'll see this bunch formation with those receivers. Look for crossing routes out of that.
3rd and 7. Trying to take advantage of good field position. McKinney throws, and over the shoulder, incomplete. Had his eyes on Jaron Mitchell. And Mitchell could not get near it. A little bit off target. And it brings up 4th down. So both teams now with 3 and outs respectively.
You know, McKinney wants that throw back. He's getting coached up on the sideline here. If he throws that ball on time, it probably was a touchdown. He worked backside opposite of that bunch formation and got the one-on-one matchup that he liked. That 50-50 ball is hard to complete sometimes.
Oh, terrible kick on the punt, and that's going to lead to no return. So the Colonels could have pinned it back. They won't. We're coming back. Eastern Michigan football here in Ypsilanti. Yeah, there's been a lot of nice upgrades to the facilities and everything around this great campus in Ypsilanti, which is tucked away very close to your home base, Ann Arbor, when you were balling.
Looks like a different place. I feel like a tourist.
Yeah.
They have the basketball arena. They got the new football facility. I mean, that wasn't here a couple of years ago. They've really upgraded. They got the great turf.
Eagles on offense after a 3 and out to start this football game. Only 28 yards on that punt. Oh, big pressure coming in, and down goes Powell. Man, I'll tell you what, the Colonels are revved up and fired up.
Well, you'll see coming off the edge, it was a corner blitz by John Blunt, and he disguised it. Looked like he was in press coverage, and that's what you do to an RPO offense. It takes a while to develop and watch and make a decision, and if that quarterback holds the football the way Powell did, you get a fast guy like Blunt. You see 6'1", 180, he can fly. He got there in a hurry.
That's a 5-yard loss. Time to throw in the middle, little crossing route. This is going to be a big pickup and almost a first down for Eastern Michigan. The crossing route to the tight end, Gunnar Oaks, gets them close to a first down, but not quite there yet.
You'll see it was a design tight end cross. You see the wide receiver started blocking almost before he even caught that football. That's a great call.
And boy, another takedown. Boy, they don't waste any time at all. Matthew Jackson. You talked to him on the field at the beginning of the game. This guy's the real deal.
Hey, he's one of the most impressive young men on the field, off the field. Has a great smile. You'll see he plays that Sam linebacker. He's coming right off the edge, and he was not fooled at all. He's well coached, conference player of the year. I actually can see this young man playing on Sundays, especially if he's just running down on kickoff. He's a playmaker, and the way they play him, he plays in space, he can rush, and he also drops. But at 6'2", 215, he's what I call a space player. He's not necessarily a linebacker. He's a hybrid type of athlete. You've seen it on that play.
Another 3 and out for the Eagles. Tomasek on to punt. Another good one, and this is going to bounce. Out of bounds, no return. So two good punts in the Eastern kicking game. However, 2 3-and-outs is not what Chris Creighton envisioned when he thought his offense would take the field here tonight.
Well, when we talked to Coach Creighton on our conference call, he was very high on Taylor Powell's completion percentage. You know, in spring he was 81% with his throws, and then in camp he dropped down to 76%. We haven't seen that yet. But that was against his own teammates. And then when you play against a new opponent, a different scheme, first time starting in a new uniform, it doesn't always add up right away. But, you know, Coach Creighton calls the plays, and right now it seems like a chess match.
Thomasic's punt was 51 yards. Here's a good run on first down. McGlory is the runner, and he will pick up all of 10 yards plus.
That's a stretch play, an outside zone handoff. And it's all on that left side. Watch the left side of that offensive line recreate it and create running lanes. Probably got away with a little hold there, but they didn't call it. But that play took a long time to develop, and then he got his foot in the ground and got north and south. That's a great play.
From the 38, a lot of time, and deep ball, and incomplete. Oh, he almost had his man in stride. That's Cornelius McCoy. That is a transfer into this program that the Colonels are very high on, and a ball he probably should have had.
Well, that's good defense by David Carter knocking the football out, but that ball was underthrown. He ran what's called a slot fade, where the inside receiver, he takes it wide and outside. That's a tough cover for any safety. Trust me, I played that position. I didn't want to cover any slots. That ball was underthrown, a missed opportunity.
McKinney on the rollout, and a lot of space to work in. He'll tuck and run and get positive yardage. Time of possession dominated so far by Eastern Kentucky, and a late flag. Eastern Michigan was a very disciplined team last year, Marcus. They did not take many penalties at all, so Chris Creighton's hoping that rolls over into this year.
Well, they were the least penalized team in the country last year. And after a good run by Parker McKinney, now they're going to tackle on the penalty. It's not looking good for the Eagles defense. They just kind of look out of sync right now. But you got to tip your cap to the offensive coordinator for the Colonels, Andy Richmond. He told us they're going to play with a physical mindset, push it down the field, and he felt like his offensive line was playing better when they came out of camp.
They move into Eastern territory at the 44-yard line. McKinney, handoff, and a little bit, maybe a 4-yard gain. Nothing too flashy there from McGlure. Keandre, just a sophomore from Minnesota, Florida, but he shows a lot of promise early on for Eastern Kentucky.
There's another notable transfer, number 19, Joe Horacio. He's playing right next to Klein. He transferred in from Boston College. He's going to have to make an impact, too.
A little flare on the far side, complete to Jaden Smith. Flag on the play right at the place of the catch. See where that ends up happening. That could be a hold.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a hold on Jaden Higgins, number 9, on the outside receiver, trying to block. And it's really tough, though, to make that block and sustain it.
Number 9, 10-yard penalty.
So that good play is going to walk it back, and the ball is spotted at the 49. You can see that's a lot of green jersey being grabbed right there.
Yeah, and once a defender starts to move laterally, you have to let him go, and they teach you that as a defensive coach so the referees can see the jersey tug.
Second down and 15. Quick toss here to Sloan, who stays up and almost breaks it for a lot more. Eastern takes a swipe at it late. It's positive yardage. It could have been a lot more if he had one extra step. It's a gain of 5, brings up 3rd down and 10.
It's a good tackle in space, because that one could have went one missed tackle, and then there's a big play. But David Carter, the safety, is coming up playing extremely well out of Ecorse, Michigan. Eastern Kentucky has dictated the tempo all of this first quarter.
against Eastern Michigan. Lot of time. Deep throw and up in the air and caught. Man, did he take a pop, but coming down with it is you-know-who. Dakota Allen, the big play guy in their passing game.
See, Eastern only rushed 2 guys, and they're spying the quarterback. And if that's the case, the defensive backs should have more guys in coverage. And you'll see cornerback there just didn't get enough depth. That was Joshua Scott in their dime package. You have to play the sticks in that situation.
Russell Vaden on the stop. First down. They go conservative, and not much for Jaden Smith, but again, Eastern Kentucky goes to maybe one big play in their passing game on each series to get them deep into Eagles territory.
You have to find number 13, especially, and that's Dakota Allen, in critical downs like 3rd and long. You have to identify him. He's a matchup problem for a lot of linebackers and safeties, respectively.
Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. McKinney throws and caught in space. Good ankle tackle. They go to Jaden Smith again, but Eastern Michigan able to prevent yardage after the catch. But again, the Colonels keep chipping away.
Well, you see Eastern Michigan, that is, brought some pressure. If that ball was thrown a little wider outside, he may have turned up on the sideline. Another good tackle by David Carter in space. Nevertheless, they were able to get a first down.
Will ID the injured player for Eastern Kentucky. Now he's getting to his feet. That's K'Ron Calvert, the starting right guard, who is walking very slowly off the field.
It's a big blow to that offensive line because they've been playing well, and all they're asking their offensive line to do is to give McKinney a few seconds, and they're really not trying to run the ball up the middle, but they will do it occasionally just to keep the defense honest. They've been trying to get speed and space with the swing passes and the quick outs.
This is the Colonels' 2nd trip into the red zone. The first one ended up with an end zone interception. Eagles dodged the bullet there. Let's see what the Colonels do this time around with the ball at the 17. Deep drop, and he's going to run. And a flag from the backfield. That's positive yardage on the keep, but we'll have to check out the flag after McKinney is tackled inside the 15.
73. Yard penalty. First down.
We'll take a look here and see on the left side. You'll see the left guard gets a full-blown fistful of green jersey. The big fella Peyton Price.
Matthew Napier. Or well, anyway, we'll clean that up. But
that's the left guard.
Okay.
Yeah, 73.
So they roll back 10 yards. Now they're on the ground trying to make room in space. This is McGlure again. Keandre's been the go-to guy in the running game for Eastern Kentucky.
Just when the Colonels look like they're getting ready to make a move, they start to shoot themselves in the foot. And when the field gets a little smaller, to play shorter as far as the yards to go, it seems like the play calling has been affected by that. But nevertheless, if you're on 2nd down here, you don't try to get all of it. You get what you can and try to center that ball up.
Justin Jefferson on that tackle, 2nd and 19. Play, they keep it on the ground. An explosion run. Not enough for a first down, but they're close. McGlure again on the carry, down to the 15 and diving in towards the 10.
That offensive line, they're making up for that holding call because they came right back and ran it inside when the Eastern Michigan defense was anticipating a pass play or possibly a screen, and they softened up. It's a good call by the Colonels, and they're going to walk it out here to end that first quarter.
Yeah, and it's been pretty much all Eastern Kentucky here. The Colonels come in and show they are all business. A scoreless first quarter. The Colonels have the football here at the factory, and they're looking for some points here. Our second quarter when we come back to Ypsilanti. Well, time of possession very much in favor of Eastern Kentucky as we take a look at the picturesque Eastern Michigan campus on this Labor Day weekend. And it's on to a big 3rd down and 9 here for the Colonels. They've been in the red zone once. They came up empty. Let's see what they can do this time. McKinney time, throwing incomplete behind his intended wideout. That did not have a chance as he was looking for Edwards, Mo Edwards. So the field goal unit comes on for Eastern Kentucky.
It's a good stop.
Look at that stat, 137 yards to 2.
Wow. And just think, the score is still 0-0. And it looks like the Eagles have been in a bend but don't break type defense situation, and they're trying to figure it out too. And I think Eastern Kentucky needs to make this and have something to show for all those yards.
Here's Patrick Nations on for the field goal, and it is up, and it is good. So the Colonels convert in the red zone and take a 3-0 lead here. Eastern trying to get their offense on track when we come back to the factory. So the Colonels take the early second quarter lead here at Eastern Michigan on the field goal. And so far, as we said, it's really been the Colonels that have dictated pretty much everything. And we are enjoying Gary McPeak's efforts so far. Of course, pressed into action after Walter Wells going into cardiac arrest on Sunday. So he's home recuperating. They had a cardiac episode Sunday, and he's been dismissed from the hospital, home recuperating, and we're hopeful that he's watching and he's probably enjoying what his team is doing so far.
Yeah, they have a good game plan, and they're trying to get the ball to different guys. And on money down situations, they've been able to connect with Dakota Allen, big-time tight end. And then on defense, Eastern Michigan is going to have to find an answer for Matthew Jackson on the other side for the Colonels.
So the Eagles trying to find some juice in their offense. They return the kickoff at a big explosion and tackled from behind. Oh, man, that could have been really dangerous. Jalen Jackson burning up with some afterburners, but there is a flag at the tackle. So we'll see what this develops into, but finally something positive for Eastern Michigan, Marcus.
Definitely, and there's 3 phases of every football game: offense, defense, or special teams. I want to find out what this penalty is. Got a horse collar.
36 yards on the return, and the Eagles are going to get some yardage after it as we watch Jalen do a little east-west, and then boom.
Yeah, they call that horse collar right there. You can't grab the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
They call that on Jackson. Big fella running down on kickoff, a costly penalty. So now Eastern Michigan finally has some. This is the best field position they've had starting off all first half.
Hey, I'm not pro horse collar at all, but if he doesn't make that play, that could be a 6.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And they tell defensive backs the same thing. Don't let them catch it. Take the 15.
So the Eagles get good territory, get good field position inside the 50-yard line from the 48. Powell on the ground, and the handoff is to Samson Evans, who just pounds it inside. And if you're evaluating what Eastern Michigan did offensively in the first quarter, Marcus, you can't be too happy right now if you're Chris Creighton.
No, you can't be, especially he calls the plays and takes a lot of pride in that offense, and they haven't been able to get the ball to Hassan Beydoun or Dylan Drummond, and it's been some great defense by the Colonels.
That's a gain of just 3 on first down. 2nd and 7. Quick toss, far side, complete and forced out of bounds, but Dylan Drummond on the catch. Sharp throw, good catch. Forced out by Blunt, just short of a first down. 3rd and maybe 2. They're going to call it, yeah, they're going to call it 3rd and 2.
And now you see Blunt walked up in press coverage. You have to take those quick throws away and make those guys earn it down the field.
Powell, hands off, and they get the first down and then some. Samson Evans again. Just enough misdirection going on to allow Evans to pick up the Eastern Michigan first down. So the big kickoff return invigorating this Eastern Michigan offense. And they're inside the 40. Actually inside the 35 at the 34. And looks like we got a Colonel jumping off sides. That would be Matthew Jackson.
It's a good hard count right there. See, Eastern Michigan going to look with a little bit of tempo, speeding up their alignment. And now they have the Colonels on their heels, changing up the formation a little bit. Looks like Coach Creighton is getting into his rhythm, getting a little more comfortable. You see Coach McPeak there talking to his guys, coaching them up, telling them to watch the football. Those penalties have been costly for the Colonels so far on this possession.
Oh, it's against Eastern Michigan, so the fans here at the factory not in approval. And it's going to push the Eagles back 5 yards to make it first down and 15. Let's see if we get a pre-snap twitch here on the O-line from Eastern.
Let's see that. Let's watch that right side. Oh, my bad. That's a tough one right there. I mean, I don't.
So the Eagles go back to the 39-yard line, 1st and 15. Powell. Now he has to run from the pocket, and he will run and be forced out of bounds. Not a great pickup for the Eagles. Good coverage downfield by EKU.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan's trying to survive that down there. Nothing was there. This secondary by the Colonels, they're playing lights out football right now, and they're taking away what Powell likes to go to, and also Coach Creighton.
Gain of 2 on the ground. Evans on the carry, pushing, flag thrown. All of a sudden, we're starting to get a whole rash of penalties.
Yeah. Those penalties are mental errors, and you'll see that a lot in week 1.
Holding against the Eagles.
Play. You have to settle down and play. Those holding penalties are very costly. So you see the penalties working for and against both teams. And Coach Creighton, he really doesn't like that. As we stated earlier, this was the least penalized team in the country last year, and so far it doesn't appear that way.
So they are backpedaling from where they started. 2nd down and 23. Just about where this drive started, inside Colonel's territory. 2nd down. Little screen pass underneath, and they get good yardage, but not a whole bunch. And that's complete to Tanner Canoe. And the Eagles want to get going and rev this tempo. 3rd and 15. Nobody home, and down. Oh, he stays up. Now he's still on his feet, running, and finally forced out of bounds. Boy, Taylor Powell. That play was just a penalty waiting to happen, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it finally came.
He had all day to throw the football, and that pocket collapsed. Powell got out of there, and he has some happy feet right now, and they're taking his throws away. Interesting to see what the penalty is once he took off and started running.
defensive holding against the Colonels.
So the penalty against Eastern Kentucky is a game changer for Eastern Michigan. They get the automatic first down. Well, the way it's gone for the Eagles so far, I'm sure Chris Creighton will take that.
Anywhere you can get it.
Say thank you very much. Ball moving to the 25. Powell. Pressure again. Down he goes. Boy, I'll tell you what, there is not a lot of time in that pocket for Taylor Powell. It seems to shrink a little bit more each snap.
You see the big fella, 0, TK. He'll come from right side of your screen there. Beats Alex Howey, the right guard. And right now, those routes are taking a long time to develop, and that's why Powell's holding on to the football. I think the shorter, quicker throws, the speed outs are probably going to be more comfortable throws for Powell.
That's their third sack, 2nd and 15. Screen pass, almost a bust. The Colonels read it out and snuff it out. And a big tackle made by Dawson, but another flag.
Yeah, we're going to have a roughing the passer there on the big fella on your screen. And I don't think both teams, especially the Colonels right now, understand the situation. If it's 2nd and 2 sticks or it's 3rd and long, play disciplined, smart football. Don't beat yourself and give up free first downs. But, you know, 2nd and long or big screen and draw downs at the pro level, at the college level. And you'll see, they let him come in. McClendon had just made a big play, and then he roughs the quarterback up after the throw. And it's just not a disciplined football play. It really hurt the football team and defense.
You know, week 1, when everything is really new, game speed, tempo, opponent, all the adrenaline that comes in, don't beat yourself.
Exactly.
The Colonels get the field goal. They really handled the first quarter very well, but they are letting Eastern Michigan back into this game on this drive. 1st and 10, now they're at the 15. Powell, quick throw, end zone, over the shoulder. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan. What a corner catch by Tanner Canoe. Perfect throw, and the Eagles are in the end zone.
You see here on the replay, Canoe had his man beat off the line the entire time. Powell with the good over the shoulder throw, great catch, getting a foot down in bounds. And that's a result of great play calling and execution, but those penalties start to add up. Those mental errors will cost you points on the board eventually.
Point after is right down the middle, and the Eagles, a big sigh of relief. They're in the end zone and leading 7-3 over Eastern Kentucky here at Rynerson Stadium. Taylor Powell finding Tanner Canoe in the end zone on a perfectly thrown football. One of the rare bright spots for Eastern offensively, but things are starting to trend a little better for the Eagles. Colonels got to reestablish themselves now on offense. An 8-play, 48-yard drive, and it's the 15-yard corner of the end zone toss that lets Eastern Michigan kind of regain their composure a little bit.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting first quarter and a half so far, because for Eastern Michigan to not be as productive as they can be on offense and to turn around and be winning this game 7-3, it shows their resilience, give their defense a lot of credit for keeping them in the ball game when they didn't play as well. And then Eastern Kentucky started to beat themselves, and we'll find out if they can respond and what type of counterpunch they come up with.
Ball caught in the end zone with 1 foot down. They're going to bring it out, and they're going to get a decent return out to almost the 25 as another flag comes after the tackle. But let's look at what's happening a week from tomorrow as the college football season continues with week 2. Central Michigan against South Alabama at CMU. Western Michigan at Ball State, a conference matchup. The Colonels playing at Bowling Green, so they'll stay in the MAC next weekend. Toledo's at home, Miami is at home, and Buffalo is at home. So we got 6 MAC teams playing at home next week. All those games streaming on your ESPN Plus and ESPN3 platforms. A holding call will bring it back to about the 15-yard line. So we will be at Central Michigan next Saturday.
Yep, you and I will take it on to Mount Pleasant. I'll actually have my eyes on that Western game too. I want to see, after watching them last night, almost rally, see what that offense looks like against Ball State. It'd be a great matchup.
So not great starting field position, as McKinney will keep it and run for maybe 2 or 3 yards. Nothing great. Watson is the tackler who forced him out.
Field position, I think, has dictated the course of the game too. Besides the penalties, Eastern Michigan got that great return and had a few penalties go their way, and they were able to shorten the field. And we'll see if the Colonels can drive the length of the field without making too many mistakes.
2nd and 7 from the 18. Good run. That's Sloan again. He's been the big hitter in their running game so far. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and short. We may have an injured player down. And I'm thinking that's a Eastern Kentucky player.
Let's see if we can get a numbers at
58.
Yeah. Big fella. Big Howard Watkins Jr. out of Cincinnati, Ohio. 6'4", 285.
Warm weather like this, there's a nice breeze coming in, but our game time temperature was, upper 70s. It was warm, and Marcus, these early games, the first few weekends in September, it's pretty much warm everywhere, and cramps can come into play, things like that. Is that something players have to be conscious of as the game is unfolding?
Yeah, definitely. And you want to stay hydrated throughout the week and throughout the game, and cramping and just getting used to playing at game speed for an extended period of time. Games are typically longer than practices, and they're a full go for 4 quarters too. So there's going to be a lot of banging. I see Coach Creighton there trying to figure out what's going on, and had a chance to talk to him right before the game too during their walkthrough, and he was locked in, and he felt like that this team was athletic enough to compete on both sides of the football, and he wanted to see his Eagles execute. We'll find out if his defense can get a stop here on 3rd and short.
3rd down and 2. See what the Colonels do here. A lot of options here. Handoff, and they plow ahead. 1st down and then some. A big pickup after the 1st down, and they are outside the 35. And again, Braden Sloan continues to hurt Eastern Michigan defensively.
Yeah, just an inside zone play, and they blocked it extremely well. What they did was lined up 3 wide receivers to the left, which spaced out those linebackers and got them out of their normal gaps. And Sloan just got north and south. I mean, he's running that football with authority. We have another injured player down on the field. This time it's an Eastern Michigan Eagle.
Timeout here in Ypsilanti at the factory. The Eagles have a 7-3 lead on Eastern Kentucky. The injured Eastern Michigan player is Jose Ramirez, an impact player for sure on their defensive unit. So we'll see if he gets treatment and comes back in. 1st and 10 from the 33 for Eastern Kentucky. It was all Colonels in the 1st quarter. They get an early 2nd quarter field goal. Then the Eagles answer with a touchdown, and that's where our score is right now. McKinney, and little toss in the middle. Big catch for a 1st down. Jaron Mitchell on the grab.
Well, you're going to see Parker McKinney hold this football. He has all day to throw the football. Found his man, Mitchell Mitchell did a fine job of catching the football, then getting north and south to move the sticks.
To the 46-yard line. Handoff. This is Sloan. Ball is loose on the turf. Eastern Michigan says they've got it. And I think they do. Boy, that ball just came flying out of that pile. And this would be the second turnover of the game for Eastern Kentucky. Remember, their first drive was going right down the field until that interception in the end zone. We have not gotten a signal yet from the officials, but wonder if this is going to get reviewed. I have not seen a signal, but
that's Russell Vate, number 13, a defensive back. He got in there and recovered a fumble.
Yeah, that's Eastern football.
Well, when we talked to defensive coordinator for Eastern Michigan, Neil Nethery, we asked him three things he wanted to do, three things he wanted to see when he watched this film. Number one, he wanted to find out if his guys were going to run to the ball. They did that on that play. He wanted to create turnovers. That was number two. And number three was red zone defense. So far, he's checking those boxes defensively, giving his offense a chance to figure it out and get going.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the defense.
So the turnover battle is tilted in favor of Eastern Michigan, and they have needed that. They're looking on the Jumbotron here in the stadium, and we're going to take a look at that same angle here. Boy, oh, that's
ball looked like
that ball was way out before he hit the ground, even though, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm thinking you can't really overturn it. Oh, here's a better look. Oh, well, we should say a different look.
But that's what happens when you get hats to the football, though. When you start to corral a ball carrier, even when he's running hard and having a hot hand.
Yeah. So Chase Klein is the one who looks like he comes in and makes the big takedown, but I think the ball's out
right
before
there, the ball's out before that right knee hit the turf. It was on its way out. It has to be conclusive.
I have to think that to my two eyes, there would not be anything to overturn it.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down for Eastern Michigan.
Well, football protection matters so much in a close game. And if you're Eastern Kentucky, you probably figure you were going to get some points on the opening drive, and you came up with zip. Again, you want your offense on the field.
And it's tough to go the length of the field, 80 yards, 75 yards. And the longer you're out there, a mistake could happen. And now Eastern Michigan has great field position to start this possession.
EMU recovered 9 fumbles last year, so they can get to the football. Here's Powell throwing off his back foot. Little comeback route complete. Nothing flashy about it.
That's completed to Darius Lassiter.
So Darius Lassiter on the receiving end. And now we're starting to see a little bit more comfort for Taylor Powell as he completes another one to almost the same area, just not as deep.
Yeah, you have to get your quarterback going with play calling, and he's throwing to his strong side, which is the right arm. You're on the right hash, throwing quick outs, hitch routes, stop routes. Now the defense will get on their heels.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of movement before the snap, probably on Eastern Michigan. So, you know, Marcus, for players that are in the heat of the battle, as you were with the University of Michigan.
Ball start, offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Talk about the emotions that a player is processing on the opening night of the season like this.
Well, I mean, first of all, you can't sleep. It's almost like Christmas. And you try to stay relaxed. But the good thing about playing a night game and bad thing is it's later. So you get a little antsy. Other people playing at noon the next day. But emotionally, you just want to get out there. And sometimes you can lose your poise and make some mental errors.
First down and 15 from the Eastern Kentucky 42. play fake, quick throw, and incomplete. Oh, he wanted his tight end, and that was going to be an easy catch for Andreas Paskey, but couldn't hold it.
Yeah, Polsky really, ran a good route, and the play call and design was there. Powell held onto the football, and that was going to be a big gain. He took his eyes off the football a little too soon, didn't look it in.
Another jump. Again, that we thought the first time that happened, that was by McClendon.
Offside. Defense.
That one does go against EKU.
You have to understand, as a football player on defense, the situation. It's 2nd and 15. Screen, draw, hard count. The offense wants to do anything to get you to give them some yards back, and they don't want to earn it. Right there, you put them back into 2nd and 10, and it's manageable instead of 2nd and 15.
So 5-yard pickup to the 37. Eastern Michigan trying to take advantage after covering that fumble. Wide open, way outside, and they've got big yardage and a whole bunch more after the catch. Hassan Beydoun.
Well, what you saw there is Powell did a fine job of holding the snap count so he can read the defense, and the Colonels showed their hand too soon.
They go back to the same spot. Great tackle. Man, that was a sharp throw caught by Dylan Drummond, but the tackle was even better. Number 1 against number 1. That's John Blunt. We've called his number already a few times.
Another half a second sooner, Blunt could have been up that sideline. He's starting to get a pretty decent read on the body language of the route running by these receivers.
2nd down and 6, and the Eagles are at the Colonels' 20-yard line. Powell throwing off his back foot down the middle, incomplete. Not sure who he was looking for. He had a guy going right up the middle, but it was too high for him.
It's good defense right there. They packed everybody in with a tight formation and tried to run 4 verticals. That's 4 guys going deep, spreading the field out, but the Colonels were all over that one.
So 3rd down and 6 from the 20. You can see that it's been an uphill battle for Eastern Michigan offensively so far, but they've got a 4-point lead and a chance to get some more on this drive. 3rd and 6. Powell throwing, and a little comeback route caught. Is that enough for a 1st down? Looks like it is. And another hookup with Darius Lassiter, and the Eagles are going to go for it on 4th down. It's not a 1st down. It is a 1st down, sorry.
They gave it to him.
Yep.
So what they're doing now, Coach Creighton, is just taking advantage of the off coverage, the soft coverage, zone look. Receivers are reading the defensive backs and are sitting down right at the sticks, and it's an easy throw and catch.
1st and 10 from the 13. Little more stability on offense, and far corner end zone, incomplete. Boy, if he had held on a little longer, yeah, just not quite there.
All you young corners at home in high school watching this football game, watch how John Blunt gets in phase. That's hip to hip, and then he reads the receiver's eyes, avoided the penalty, got a pass deflection. That's great defensive back play on the deep ball, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, that was literally 1-on-1. Drummond against Blunt. 8th play of this drive, 38 yards, all of it in the air for Eastern Michigan. 2nd down and 10. Powell's got pressure. He drops it underneath. Nice move inside to stay up, and finally brought down inside the 10. So Lassiter grabs it again. And Darius continues to be a thorn in the side.
And Matt Jackson saved the touchdown on that play, and the speed of the Colonels defense was on display there, because looked like he could have turned that up, possibly got more. It's a good wide receiver screen call. Creative play call, too, by design.
3rd down and 5 for Eastern Michigan. Trying to go up 2 scores. Little wide run here. And going for that corner pylon. I don't see a signal. There it is. Touchdown, Samson Evans. Just did catch that pylon. And Eastern Michigan riding the ship with 2 second-quarter touchdowns here.
Samson Evans is no stranger to the end zone. Got in there 13 times last year, and you'll see he had enough sense to go up, take a blow, and leave his feet across that plane in the air. He's a tough downhill runner. He was able to get that edge. That right side did a fine job. Big Dooley.
It's always nice when he runs right into our camera.
Yeah.
That's good video. So Samson Evans has been the workhorse back offensively for Eastern Michigan. And they are 1 point away from an 11-point lead here after a rather auspicious first quarter. Extra point is good. And the Eagles have 2 touchdowns here in this second quarter. Evans on the run, and it's Eastern Kentucky football when we come back to the factory. The Eastern Michigan program had some hardship of their own in the offseason. Assistant coach Fred Reed passed away on May 8th at the age of 54. He was the defensive pass game coordinator and safeties coach. He'd been here in Ypsilanti for 7 years. His son Amari is on the team, and that had transpired in June. And the football staff room inside the Student Athlete Performance Center is now named after him. We just saw his son there, and he is survived by his wife LaShannon and his daughter Kamara. And the significant moment for him came earlier this week when he was told by Chris Creighton he's going to run out the wrench. Explain that part of it.
Well, that wrench is a staple of the program. It represents closing the gap on the conference when they first got here, Coach Creighton and the staff. Wrenches are tough. And then also there's a reference from the movie Good Will Hunting as far as dealing with adversity. So that wrench, if you're carrying out that wrench, then that's what you represent to this program. And it's definitely an honor. So this program has rallied behind. They've also hired a longtime coach, Taver Johnson. He's been in the NFL. He's with the Raiders last year. Spent some time at Ohio State and some other places. So Eastern Michigan is a great place to work, and Coach Reed is definitely missed.
McKinney makes a sharp throw, and Jaden Smith catches it on the slant route. And again, Eastern Kentucky, you know, this is kind of a dangerous area of the game. They've owned the first quarter, didn't score, got that field goal, but, you know, now it's obvious that the momentum has shifted to Eastern Michigan, even though the Colonels are still very fundamentally in this game. And now the run on first down. They don't get anything on that. Maybe 1 yard.
Well, you see McGlure there. He's holding to the football with 2 hands after the fumble by the offense the last time out. But one of the problems the Colonels are having is being able to sustain drives. And when you're backed up on your own side of the field, you have to take care of the football, try to move the chains, and then you just can't commit penalties. And they've been shooting themselves on the foot the longer the drive goes. Even though they've had success moving the football.
McGlure has 28 yards rushing. Here's a pass, and receiver falling down, incomplete. The target was Jaden Smith. Kind of brings up an important 3rd down here. It feels like all the Colonels' momentum in the first quarter has kind of burned off.
Yeah, this is a critical point in the game because if Eastern Michigan gets the football, they have time to score, and they get the ball back to start the second half.
The Colonels are 4 of 7 on 3rd downs. They're at their own 36. McKinney in traffic, and jump ball incomplete. The tight end was way downfield. That's Dakota Allen, the late flag. I think, and Dakota's trying to sell it like maybe he got interfered with. And boy, the Eastern Michigan, Allen, you know, they talked about how chirpy he was with his own teammates. Well, he is not backing down from any of these Eastern Michigan defensive backs at all.
Defense, number 41. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
The call is on Justin Jefferson, and it's pass interference.
Yeah, and the Eagles brought the house there, and that was a one-on-one matchup. They expected the ball to get out quick. And you're right, Dakota Allen has been chirping, and that play right there.
He sold it well. He got his hands up well before the ball was even kind of near him.
Yeah, it didn't look like a lot of contact, but nevertheless, they made the call.
And the run on first down is a good run. Sloan again. Sorry, McGlure on that carry. Gain of maybe 5 yards. They're going to call it 4 yards inside the Eastern Michigan 45. Quick toss, incomplete. Receiver had it and dropped it. That's Mo Edwards.
See right here, clock management is going to have to be at a premium if you're the Colonels, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is 4-down territory, just to try to think about holding the ball the rest of the half. If not, if you don't get it, you can punt it and try to pin them back, but you probably won't have much time left. We'll see what they come up with here, but they've got to catch those shorter, quick outs.
3rd and 6, big third down and a completion in traffic. McKinney threads the needle and hooks up with Mo Edwards for a Colonel's first down.
And you'll see number 19, Joe Sparacio. He just didn't look up the route. He kept his eyes on the quarterback too long, and he's a fast linebacker, good cover guy to transfer from Boston College, but he never looked to his right. Good tackling in space there, but you're going to have to look up those routes when you drop in zone coverage.
Colonel's on the move at the Eastern 34. Incomplete. Oh, he had a man wide open. Keandre McGlure had all kinds of space to work in.
That was a missed opportunity there. The Eagles got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, sending guys, and they didn't pick up the running back. Probably anticipated McGlure staying in for protection, and he slipped out. McKinney saw him late, and that was 6 points. And there's been some missed opportunities like that. And you know what? It's been happening on both sides for both teams. You see Coach McPeak there. He wants to have that one back.
2nd down and 10. Quick throw in the middle, and that's caught. And nothing after the catch. But again, the Colonels will keep kind of chipping away. That's Jaden Smith.
That's what's been most successful is the RPO, freeze the defense with the run, throw the quick 5-yard stop route. And it's a tough read for the defense because the linemen are allowed 2 yards down the field before they're flagged for an eligible receiver downfield.
Saw the shot of Gary McPeak, the acting head coach, trying to get his team another score here late in the second quarter. Ball is caught. Oh, and he couldn't stay up. Mo Edwards would have had 6. Just lost his footing.
Well, if you gamble as a defensive back, you have to make this play. And if you're going to go for the interception, you better make it. But he actually altered the trajectory of that pass there.
Yeah, the ball just got touched a little bit at the line. Boy, Mo Edwards, great concentration. And we got a timeout on the field.
Charge timeout. Eastern Michigan.
So Eastern Michigan takes the timeout, and this is the 10th play of the Eastern Kentucky drive coming up. So we'll keep it here. 2:32 left, and Eastern Kentucky, for all the good things they've done in this first half, Marcus, you look at a 14-3 score. Obviously, this game is still very much in hand for them, but they really want to get some points on this drive and make it a, maybe a 1-score game.
Yeah, Coach McPeak doesn't want to leave too much meat on the bone here. This is a prime opportunity, which is why Eastern Michigan called that timeout. They need to settle down and regroup. They're getting picked apart a little bit in the short intermediate windows where those linebackers are. You'll see to your left there, Andy Richmond, the offensive coordinator, responsible for those running backs. And he was very confident coming into this game. I mean, he felt like they could execute the RPO, keep the defense honest, and now they just have to find a way to finish drives, especially down in the red zone.
So 1st and 10 from the 19. Time for the Colonels to get another score here. A lot of time to throw off his back foot. Wide open, caught in the corner. Touchdown, Jaden Smith. He had way too much space to work in. Shook off a would-be Eagle tackler. And indeed, we have a one-score game here again at Rynerson Stadium.
Well, you see McKinney had all day to throw the football, and that was a late developing route. The Eagles lost sight of Smith in coverage, and that time he's able to stay on his feet, put that third leg down with that left hand. He's a fast twitch kid, great route runner. You saw the soft hands, and just like you said, the Colonels were right in striking distance, and they're in it.
Point after is good. It's a 10-play, 75-yard drive. And a feel-good series for the Colonels. Not just because they got points, but because the game was kind of turning the other way with those back-to-back Eastern touchdowns. The Colonels say, no, we're going to make a little statement here before the end of this half.
They eliminated the penalties. They took care of the football. They missed some opportunities to possibly get some big plays, but they stuck with it. And I think they settled down and got back to what they did in the first quarter. So it's been a back and forth slugfest. Not as pretty as you would like it to be if you're both head coaches, but at the same time, both defenses have kept their offense in the game. So we'll find out here in this last 2:24 what Coach Creighton has dialed up in his 2-minute offense.
And also a reminder that the Colonels have turned the football over twice. That interception in the end zone on their opening drive. They're going to look at this half and go, hey, we want to be in the game. We probably should have been leading in this game.
Exactly right. And they're still playing with a lot of confidence. They've taken Eastern Michigan's best shot in the middle part of this first half. And we'll see how Eastern Michigan responds. And they don't really have to get too greedy or too cute because their defense is keeping them in it. But they need to take care of the football. But last time out, they had a great return. They had a great return by Jalen Jackson. And I don't know if you want to kick it to that man again because he can take it to the house.
Yeah, the kickoff return by Jackson was what sparked up their offense. And here is the return taken out past the 25 to almost the 28. Here's the last drive with Darius Lassiter making big play after big play for Eastern Michigan.
You see he's catching that 5-yard stop route, and he's catching it with his hands, getting upfield. They started putting the ball in his hands there on the wide receiver screen. You see he gets up the field there, and then he came up hobbling just a little bit. We'll see if he returns back to the offense here on this possession.
So over 2 minutes here. Eastern Michigan has time to be aggressive. They're not going to just ride out the clock here, but question is, how aggressive do you really want to be? We're going to find out here on this series. Starting from the 29-yard line. Powell's going to throw, a lot of time, and a flag down, and a pass complete on that far side. Forced out of bounds. There's nothing after the catch, but that's the tight end, Gunnar Oakes, who already has an important reception today for EMU. Let's get the flag. Well, they're going to pick up the flag. Oh, they're not. Okay.
Holding. Defense, number 2. 10-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Another flag in favor of Eastern Michigan.
It's Josh Hayes there, number 2. Guilty. don't want to give them any yards, especially with the 2-minute situation coming.
To give him yards and the clock isn't running. Kind of a double whammy right now for Eastern Kentucky. With the ball from the 43-yard line. Call it the 44. Now they're going to, well, let's see.
10-yard penalties from the previous spot. Will be 1st and 10.
Okay, so we're going to change the spot. Okay, so he went forward and then back and now forward again. Okay. 39-yard line is where it starts for EMU. Still plenty of time. All the scoring has come in this second quarter for both teams. Colonels showing blitz from the edge. Now they kind of reset. See if they bring pressure. Powell in traffic over the middle, underthrown, incomplete. Or is it a pick? I don't know if that hit the turf or not. I don't think it was an interception, but it was not a well-thrown ball.
No, that was, I think that was an errant pass, and you'll see it's hard to throw. It's really tough to throw a vertical route with an underneath trail defender and one over the top. If anything, you want to put that one high and wide outside. Powell got right there, caught a break because that was a trapped football by Chile.
So 2nd down and 10. Here's Powell, a lot of time, and underneath caught. And yardage after the catch by Dylan Drummond, who gets a 1st down for Eastern Michigan.
Eastern has 2 timeouts left, and Colonels got caught playing man-to-man and left the middle of the field wide open.
Eagles going up tempo from midfield. Ball on the near sideline, caught on the comeback route. Complete to Tanner Canoe. Nothing flashy here for Eastern, just solid pickups on these last couple plays. Clock is rolling, though, inside a minute 15. Outside the 40. Powell,
yeah.
Powell slowing it down, not sure why. Precious seconds tick away. Well, hopefully he's got a big play lined up here because they've eaten all of that clock. Little pump fake, little deep throw from near sideline. Intercepted. Boy, all that work and an underthrown ball, and it's the Colonels that reclaim it. Josh Hayes on the interception.
That's huge for the Colonels, and Eastern Michigan was out of sync on that play, and I think that it even warranted possibly a timeout. And as a former defensive back, when there's too much communication between wide receivers and the quarterback, you know something's coming.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not the worst thing in the world, considering that the Colonels probably don't have a long drive here in 44 seconds that would start from their 5-yard line, but that's not a good way to end the drive.
No, and Eastern Michigan had a chance to get some points out of this drive with that field position and 2 timeouts. And the Colonels responded, but it was really a glorified punt.
From the 5-yard line, McKinney hands off, and they get positive yardage on 1st down. Outside the 10 to about the 13. And again, Braden Sloan and Keandre McGlure have been the workhorses on the running game for Eastern Kentucky. So it looks like the Colonels are just going to let this second quarter come to a close. And Eastern Michigan will head to the locker room with a halftime lead, but by no means is it comfortable. 14-10 is the score here at the Factory. We'll step aside and continue with halftime coverage from Ypsilanti. Halftime here at Ryerson Stadium, a 14-10 lead for the Eagles over the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. Well, season 2 of Eli's Places is now available on ESPN Plus with new episodes debuting each Wednesday throughout the football season. In episode 2, Eli explores the rich history of Notre Dame football with Irish passing leader Brady Quinn. Big brother Peyton and Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman join him to reflect on Knute Rockne's influence on college football.
To a guy that's not a Notre Dame guy, just about touchdown Jesus, about fair catch Corby. I mean, are there some other ones?
There are some other ones. So we've got first down Moses.
Okay.
We talked about fair catch Corby, touchdown Jesus. We obviously have a lot of statues.
You can see touchdown Jesus from the stadium. About touchdown Jesus, about fair catch Corby. I mean, are there some other ones?
There are some other ones. We've got first down Moses.
Okay.
You talked about fair catch Corby, touchdown Jesus. We obviously have a lot of statues.
I thought you could see touchdown Jesus from the stadium. You know?
You used to be able to, but back before they built the second ring, you used to be able to look anywhere on the stadium. You'd see touchdown Jesus holding its arms up. But then with the renovation, now you can only see it really from that south end zone. And ironically enough, Notre Dame hasn't won a national championship since we did the renovation in the second level.
So you might have to tear it back down.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think we find a way of configuring this thing where we build so everyone can see it from the sides. We keep this end and this end a little bit lower, but we just build up from there, right?
That sounds cheap.
Eli's Places each Wednesday, and catch up on previous episodes anytime on demand on ESPN Plus. More halftime when we come back from Ypsilanti, a 14-10 lead for the Eagles over EKU. 14-10 is our halftime score in the opener for Eastern Michigan and Eastern Kentucky. When we come back, Marcus Ray joins the conversation with some halftime stats and highlights. Teams coming back on the field here at the factory in Ypsilanti. A 14-10 halftime lead for Eastern Michigan. And let's pick up our halftime highlight package with a good start for Eastern Kentucky. They owned the first quarter.
Yeah, they came out, got deep in Eagles territory and threw the ball right to Blake Bogan. Came up with a big play for that Eagles defense. Eagles respond later on. Powell finding Tanner Canoe on the fade pattern. One-on-one, they like those matchups. Then the defense. When you get a lot of hats to the ball, they create a turnover right at midfield. Come right back, give it to their workhorse. Samson Evans around that right end of the offense. He flies over the pylon for the score. And right before the half, though, the Colonels answered. Parker McKinney, he finds Jaden Smith on a deep out throw. You see the celebration, and that brought it back to within one score. And those numbers can be very deceiving.
Speaking of numbers, which of these halftime stats jump out at you? How about total yards in favor of the visitors?
Yeah, and it was at one point Eastern Michigan only had 2, but I think what stands out is the penalties. Eastern Michigan not known for having 5 penalties in 5 games sometimes, and they had 5 in one half. And then you see the Colonels, I think they really shot themselves in the foot, 8 for 86, and it shows up on the scoreboard. But look at the rush yards. Eastern Michigan is known for running the football and that big offensive line, but EKU has been up there going toe-to-toe, and it's going to come down to who can eliminate the turnovers and the mental errors.
Now, the Eagles' offense was underperforming big time in the opening quarter, but the 2 second quarter touchdowns have staked them to a 14-10 lead. We're moving up to kickoff in the third quarter when we come back to EMU. Things have cooled off, and the offenses are rejuvenated. It was Eastern Kentucky. Again, the scoreboard is misleading because the Colonels came in and really owned the first quarter. Eastern Michigan took advantage of a kickoff return. A penalty on the tackle sets them on the right path to success, but this does not feel comfortable right now if you're Eastern Michigan or Chris Creighton, does it, Marcus?
No, you know, if you're the Eagles, you have to play solid football because it's a one-score game, and the Colonels have showed that they can move the ball up and down the field. So Eastern Michigan's going to have to tighten up on both sides of the football, and they really started having success when they had better field position. Special teams played a factor. They got some turnovers, benefited from some penalties, and we'll see what adjustments the Colonels make. But offensively, I think the Colonels need to stay with the RPO, throw the short passes, attack the linebackers in between the hashes, and then take care of the football and finish drives. That, what we saw right before the half, their second to last possession, they finished that drive. And when they eliminated the mistakes, Dan, they looked like a different football team.
So the students at Eastern Michigan trying to add a little flavor to the atmosphere here. And there's a sideline shot of a guy who 1 week ago was, well, very comfortable with what he was doing. That's Jerry McPeak, now the acting head coach in the place of Walt Wells, who had a serious health issue on Sunday of this past week. And he is home recuperating now, but there is a lot of good things happening in this program for Eastern Kentucky, and specifically this game.
Yeah, and they really did a nice turnaround, going 7-4 from the previous season, and now they've been in the transfer portal. They've got some better pieces in skill positions and up front.
Oh, Badoon getting very crafty on the return. And he gets it out to beyond the 35. Boy, he is such a hard guy to bring down. 5'8", 174 pounds. But, man, does that guy play a lot bigger than his physicality.
Yeah, we talked about him in the open to start the show, and he showed you right there that he's a jitterbug, sure-handed guy. 97 balls, receptions a year ago, 1,000-yard receiver. He has to get involved in this offense, too, at some point. And when he's not involved, I think it really shows, and it slows down this offense. And that could be a favorite target for Taylor Powell, too, going forward.
From the 36. Taylor Powell had a forgettable first quarter, but smoothed out a little bit as they run on first down. Samson Evans is the ball carrier, banging ahead to maybe the 40. Back to Taylor with a guy who a lot is expected of him. He came in and rated impact right away when he came on campus in January.
And I think one of the things that's happening is the lack of a run game for Eastern Michigan is putting a lot of pressure on Powell's shoulders, too.
Another handoff in the middle. This is a little bit of a better run. This is Evans again. And they get another first down. So Eastern Michigan on the ground. Not sure if you have a pipeline into the offensive scheme here, but yeah, they want to establish the run game.
Yeah, it's very evident. And their offensive line with Johnson, Sal, and those guys up front, Big Howie, Dooley's a captain, he's been around for a long time. That group is known for roughing people up front, but they haven't been able to do so, but they're showing some flashes right now.
Still on the ground. Here comes Evans and puts a shoulder down, but there is a very determined tackler there. And that is the Josh Hayes stop. So again, it's Eastern Michigan focusing on the ground here. We have yet to see them put the ball in the air.
Yeah, they're going with that two tight end set to space that defense out.
Timeout.
Got an injured player. We'll ID the player as soon as we can. It's a Eastern Kentucky Colonel. And again, this is kind of one of those, does that look like a cramp to you?
Well, that's Jackson, man. He's an indestructible man. He could be a cramp. You see him stretching him out.
We'll break here in Eastern Michigan and come back. So the timeout continues for Eastern Michigan and Eastern Kentucky. Student section out on this Friday night. Great football weather. Not so great a few hours ago, but the cool evening breezes coming through southeast Michigan. Jackson, who left with that injury, 4 tackles, 4 solo tackles, and 1 assist. 2nd down and 8. The Eagles almost into Colonel's territory. On the opening drive of this second half, leading by 4. On the ground again. Nothing flashy for Eastern Michigan. I think they got the yard, or got a yard to go into Colonel's territory. Well, this is a radical departure from what we saw in the first half offensively from Eastern Michigan.
Well, I actually like the strategy of putting 2 tight ends out there. It gives you a 7-man line across versus a 7-man box with the running back. So you should at least get the advantage offensively, but that defensive line up front, Big Shane Burks and McClendon, those guys are clogging that middle and not allowing those linemen to get to the second level.
3rd and 6, a passing down for Eastern Michigan. Powell's going to throw in the middle and caught and pushing ahead for a first down. That is a pickup by Tanner Canoe. Oh, sorry, that's the tight end, Gunnar Oates. He's made big catches today for EMU.
Yeah, he sure has, and he has those big soft hands. Uh-oh, double move.
Oh, wide open. Got beyond the secondary, inside the 5. Dylan Drummond continues to hurt the Colonels. And boy, that was a difficult throw by Taylor Powell. The Eagles went up tempo.
See Powell stand in the pocket there. Jackson got his legs. Good pass rush move, but the corner got beat on a double move.
Ball inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal at the 3. Quarterback, they go Wildcat and touchdown. Samson Evans on the 3-yard run, and the Eagles converge and crash the end zone.
That's what they like to do when they get down to that 5-yard line, is load the box up, go Wildcat, meaning they put a running back in the quarterback position and they pound it just straight north and south. And he had a lot of those touchdowns, 13 of them very similar last season in 21.
7 plays, 64 yards on the drive, and certainly a different look by Chris Creighton in Eastern Michigan, and it pays off with a touchdown. 21-10 is our 3rd quarter score at the factory here in Ypsilanti. You got to be careful here with these high temperatures. Cramps are a certain possibility for all these players. And it's a 21-10 score now for Eastern Michigan. That guy, Dylan Drummond, has been a real problem for Eastern Kentucky tonight.
Well, you see the scoring drive there, 7 plays, 64 yards, very efficient. They hop in the Wildcat there with Samson Evans and pound the ball in one play and really just dominated the line of scrimmage on that play. But there's a play coming up here where we're going to show you what led to that touchdown there. But that young man right there is showing up, and he ran a good route, made a great catch to set all this up.
Drummond from Cleveland, Ohio. Cuyahoga Heights is his high school. And Eastern with a first quarter that they will not remember, but it's been pretty solid since then. And here come the Colonels on the return. A solid return right up the middle, stopped at about the 31-yard line. Braden Sloan takes the kickoff return, but we'll find out what the flag is. 2 of them were dropped at about the 20-yard line.
It would be unfortunate if it's on the Colonels.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 10. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So let's go back to the play that set up the touchdown by Dylan Drummond. Top of your screen there, he runs what's called a stop and go route, and the corner just absolutely bit. And that's what you have to do to a good corner like John Blunt. And right there, he was able to make a good catch and run. And he didn't really even sell it. He just kind of stopped and stuttered his feet. It can be called a stutter and go, stop and go. But nevertheless, when you get one-on-one with corners in space, especially when they're pretty good, you run that right there, and sometimes it paid off just like it did.
A lot of work for Parker McKinney on offense. First down, he'll tuck and run and get taken down. And Eastern Michigan had pressure big time from Jordan Crawford, who finishes it off, and it results in a negative play for EKU.
Yeah, that's a bull rush up front. Could have easily had another holding call in there. He used all that strength. You know, Jordan Crawford's one of their most improved guys. He lost some weight. Coach says he's a lot faster now, and we saw it on that last play.
That's their first tackle for loss in this game as flags fly before the snap.
Legal snap, offense, number 68. Penalties half the distance to the goal, second down.
And again, the scoreboard doesn't really indicate how well Eastern Kentucky has really played overall.
No, not at all.
But it's the turnovers. Again, the first possession of the game, they were in the red zone, threw an interception in the end zone, and they are trailing by 11 in this third quarter. A conservative run on second down that ends up with really maybe a gain of a yard or 2. And things getting a little chippy down there. And they pull Alex Merritt out of the pile. He's a little revved
The
up.
helmet, number 21 on the offense, came off during the play. He must leave the game for one play. Third down.
So Braden Sloan is going to step out for one play. 3rd and 15.
Well, I think there's been a forgotten man in this offense in Dakota Allen. You know, he bailed them out of a lot of trouble early on and made some big plays. But Eastern Michigan now in a situation on 3rd and 15 where they can drop 8 and rush 3, just play coverage.
Quarterback run. And that's nowhere near a first down marker. So the Colonels elect to play it safe and hopefully get a good punt.
I think they was just trying to get some room to punt the football instead of having your heels on the goal line. It's a good safe call. It's unfortunate with the penalty on the kickoff return. Another penalty offensively, give up a sack. Right now, Eastern Michigan is taking this football game over slowly but surely. And they're doing it by running the ball and playing defense.
Eastern Michigan's return man, Badoon, standing at midfield. And he'll call for a fair catch. Oh. And ball is covered by Eastern Kentucky. Well, that play almost went south. Badoon had to come up to catch it and could not fair catch it. 29 yards on the punt. Now the Eagles have great field position. I would say the Colonels' kicking game has been inconsistent.
Very inconsistent, and it's given Eastern Michigan great starting field position.
Ruling on the field was the ball was touched by a member of the kicking team. First down for Michigan.
So the Eagles, as forgettable as that first quarter was, they can strengthen their lead in this game. From the 42-yard line, here comes EMU, a run on the end. This is Badoon, who is forced out at about the 30-yard line.
That's one way to get Baydoun the football. He goes in motion, running that jet sweep, and you see that left side, getting out in space, getting second level, blocking guys. Baydoun is a guy that can make some plays. You just got to find creative ways like that to get him the football. But tip your cap to the blocking there, too.
Another injured player for Eastern Kentucky. And the training staff comes out with fluids, and I mean, you don't want to read too much into body English, but we'll step aside here in Ypsilanti with Eastern leading 21-10 over Eastern. So the Eagles are trying to build on this good field position, and the third quarter touchdown has them in a good spot here, leading 21-10. Still in the early goings in our third quarter. Taylor Powell 3 of 3 for 60 yards passing in this third quarter.
And that was Matt Jackson who cramped up for the second time right before the break. You don't see him out there on the field.
Yeah, once you start, it's hard to make it all go away. Low snap. Handoff is to Evans, who stays up and gets outside, inside the 20, inside the 15, down to almost the 10.
You'll see on this replay, this blocking scheme is called the pin and pull. You see both guards getting around, and when you put two tight ends out there, it creates a lot of run lanes against a four-man front, and that's a great call by Coach Creighton. Remember the term, pin and pull. You block down with everyone else to the left and pull those guards around.
Player down. Boy, this is the downside of week one, playing in heat.
Yep, playing in heat. And like I said, you want to keep your legs loose, but you have a night game, and it's hard to keep those guys from at least laying around in the hotel. And, you know, those earlier games you can probably play, but night games takes a while for you to get out there in this type of weather. And then you can even consider the long bus ride, too, probably from Eastern Kentucky. You know, I don't know if they flew or if they drove, but with those long bus trips also can kind of tighten you up the day before a game. All those factors.
I took some grief earlier today when I said, hey, I looked at the weather forecast. I said, hey, we're not going to have any lightning delay.
Oh, man, you remember that.
Right, but which is obviously very prevalent in week one. I'm confident enough between the weather forecast here in Southeast Michigan and the fact that we're into the third quarter that this game will not be delayed by weather. So
exactly.
I may get strung up later, but I'm confident now.
You see that man right there. I think he's glad there's no lightning so he can throw the football, but he's had some success, Coach Creighton, running the football, and I really give him credit for changing his formation and coming with a different strategy.
From the 13. Long count, Powell, hands off, and they get a little bit on the run, not a whole lot. And this time they go with Darius Boone, the junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So maybe Samson Evans might get a lighter load here going forward.
Yeah, after that last cramp, it looked like he's their guy down inside the red zone area. You see the first half attempts, 10 for 8. It's been a different second half for the Eagles running the football.
And the reality is you probably want to give your defense a break. Throwing off the back foot, complete far side. That's Tanner Canoe right at the goal line. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan.
And that's why it's a four-quarter game. You know, it's a when you start trading blows offensively and defensively, then you got to get in your bag, and you'll see here, Canoe's got those knees exposed. Takes a shot right there, extends the football.
Wow.
That's a heads-up play. Big time, actually, across the plane. We'll see him get up a little shaken up a little earlier, but that's a good play call. It was 2-on-2 matchup, tough route to defend inside the 10-yard line.
PAT is good, and the Eagles extend their lead now with their second touchdown in this third quarter. A 4-play, 42-yard drive, only takes a minute 28 off the clock, but it is taking a little more wind out of the sails of this Eastern Kentucky team that, again, the whole week was turned upside down on Sunday with the cardiac arrest for Coach Walt Wells. And again, the update that we got late this week is that he is home with his family recuperating, and Jerry McPeak is the guy leading the team as the acting coach now. A difficult situation. Obviously, your emotions are first and foremost about your friend and your colleague. That's what he told us this week. And he said, look, I have the confidence of knowing that the unity of the staff that Walt has built is going to carry us throughout, regardless of what the result is of Friday's game.
Well, and the thing is, he's been able to keep them together, and those are great points, Dan. And he just wanted to keep the machine rolling. And I would say, considering the circumstances, they put a pretty decent product out on the field, making a road trip, keeping it competitive, and for the better part of 2 quarters. And they're still not out of it now. But I think they're starting to wear down a little bit because they can't move the football. They haven't moved it as well. Everyone's cramping, and then Eastern Michigan is playing big boy ball right now, running the football.
Yeah, still plenty of time for the Colonels to make a few splashes here at Rynerson Stadium. So Parker McKinney is under center, and he'll roll out and complete this first down throw. And that's Dakota Allen. We've called his name a lot. He had a big catch on the opening drive of the game. That's when the Colonels almost got points, but an interception in the end zone killed that drive.
Then he was able to draw a big pass interference penalty in coverage by stretching the defense down the middle. Looks like a little shaking up there temporarily.
Second down and 6. Pass in traffic in the middle, caught short of a first down. But that's Cornelius McCoy, a guy that Colonels fans will want to keep an eye on all year. A transfer in that really bolsters their passing game. They've got the 2 Jadens, Jaden Smith and Jaden Higgins, but look for McCoy to do big things as this year unfolds in the ASUN for the Colonels.
Yeah, he plays with a lot of swagger, leadership. He's 5'11", 185. He can fly.
And on the run, this is Keandre McGlure pushing it out outside the 40. But we have not seen a lot of aggressive downfield passing really by either team.
No, and I think both secondaries have taken it away. You saw the one with Canoe earlier, and that was in a one-on-one matchup, bump and run coverage. But when you got those type of athletes on the perimeter, that's why you see Eastern Michigan playing off, and so were the Colonels at one point.
Quick toss far side, and that's McGlure on the catch. He stays up. Sorry, that's McCoy on the catch, not McGlure.
See Luke Cameron in there getting some action, 44 at linebacker. That was a solid tackle there.
3rd down and 3 for Eastern Kentucky. Handoff. McGlure on the carry. He gets popped, but falls ahead for a Colonels first down. And again, you're looking at the score thinking, well, Eastern Michigan's probably been up comfortably most of this game. It was scoreless after 1 quarter, but if you were grading out the team, that was a definite win in the first quarter for Eastern Kentucky.
Definitely was, and you saw that last tackle by Chase Klein as he substitutes off here. That was a violent tackle And I think he's fitting in well so far. You know, it's tough when you play a real game with new teammates. And you know, he's an Ohio kid, played at Michigan State, found a new home here, and that was a nice play.
McKinney, a lot of time. Now he's going to have to run. Nope, throwing downfield, open and caught at the 23. Wide open, Jerron Mitchell.
That was a great job of McKinney understanding where the line of scrimmage was. He was right on the line. He has all day to throw the football, and that's where he can hurt you. But now it becomes a scramble drill. Look at the touch pass, though. Just threw it on the money, on the run. That was a good play, and it's tough as a former defensive back, I'll tell you, to cover someone longer than 4 seconds down the field. When those guys get to scrambling, you have to lock on.
Yeah, the Colonels are going to have to mix it up on offense. And here's a quarterback keep, and he gets the edge inside the 10. Touchdown, Colonels. Parker McKinney, we told you he was as dangerous on his feet as he was with his arm.
I mean, he faked everybody out, and they went tempo, too. I mean, after a great pass, you'll see it. You'll see how they fake that run to the left, pull guards and tackles, and then a naked boot by himself. And if you're Tariq Spates, number 10, you have to make that tackle. He was unblocked. Former starter last year, the team's leading tackler at 90 tackles. And then you get the transfer, Joe Sparacio from Boston College. And then you got Klein from Michigan State. So that linebacker room is pretty competitive, but you got to make those plays when your number gets called.
PAT is good. That is a 7-play, 75-yard touchdown finish for the Colonels in 3 minutes and 22 seconds. So let's not start putting a wrap on this game just yet.
Not yet. I mean, it's a quarter. You got a whole fourth quarter. You got 4 minutes left here, and Coach Gary McPeak is keeping his guys in it. And I really like the play calling there on that series, running the football, good mix of run and pass. And then once Parker McKinney gets going out of that pocket, it just spells trouble. And that was all him on those last 2 plays with the scramble and throw. And you reward him. Everyone was looking at the backfield. And then he took off and showed his speed. 7 plays, 75 yards. Man, that was a great series for the Colonels.
So the 23-yard run is what caps off the scoring drive. And the Colonels will be adamant about not going quietly into the southeast Michigan evening. And EMU, a little dose of reality check. This game is nowhere near being over. As Beydoun sets for what could be an explosive return for Eastern Michigan.
This isn't like a critical drive for Eastern Michigan, but they do have to respond. You don't want the momentum to stay in the Colonels' favor. The weird things start happening with turnovers and field position.
Beydoun at the 4. See if he can create something big here. He gets popped and stays up and gets outside, but running east and west doesn't really pay off into anything. Well, if you're the Eagles right now, Marcus, you can't take your foot off the gas at all.
No, you can't, and Powell's going to have to take care of the football. I think you can expect Coach Creighton to line back up in 2 tight ends and try to run the football, take some pressure off his offense. His offensive line's been doing pretty well. Then you come back with maybe a double move or some play action. But right now, I think you run the football. And then you look for those one-on-one matchups on the outside.
So the Eagles start at their own 31 with 4:29 left in our 3rd quarter. And here's a crafty run. Wow, inside and outside. And a great ankle tackle is what stops Jalen Jackson from breaking off a big run.
You saw the fancy footwork. I mean, this guy's explosive, and they love to get the football in his hands, especially in space. That offensive line did a great job collapsing on that left side.
That's a 6-yard run on 1st down. He made it look like about 15 yards, though. 2nd and 4. Back on the ground. There he goes. Big hole and a 1st down get. for the Eagles. Jackson again outside the 45.
And you'll see the left side of the line right here going to open up that big hole right there. That's a great job by City Sal, understanding the blocking scheme and counting the linebackers in the box. That 4-man front is real tough to defend, and now it's a 3-man look with an overhang player. But when they get 7 guys on that line, it's an automatic advantage for the offense in the run game.
Well, if there's any doubt who's got fresh legs right now for Eastern, it's Jalen Jackson, and he stays in the backfield. Now a throw for Powell. He'll run and stay up and get to the 45. Didn't slide, so that might have been a little bit uncomfortable on the way down, but he gets good yardage for the Eagles.
That's a good decision of not forcing the ball. And just like with 2 tight ends, Dan, it gives you an advantage in the run game. Now you're only getting 2 guys out in the pass, so it makes you a little limited in the pass game. Colonels took away those 2 routes, and he had to tuck and run.
2nd down and 2. And the Eagles are keeping the clock moving inside 3 minutes in our 3rd quarter. Powell again, deep throw, far side, in traffic, incomplete. Oh, he wanted his intended wideout. Darius Lassiter.
It's actually good coverage over there by Josh Hayes. And see, what you're seeing now is a chess match between Coach Creighton calling the plays here offensively, and then Jake Johnson on defense. When you start running the ball, then they bring the defensive backs up, and those corners get in press. And when Coach Creighton saw that press coverage, he threw it and took a shot. And it was only 2nd and 2, which is called a waste down in most coaching circles, because you have a chance to still get the 1st down.
That's the first incompletion by either quarterback. Here's a deep throw the other way, out of bounds. Intended for Dylan Drummond, who's been a favorite target by Taylor Powell so far in this game.
Long time ago when I played in the NFL, the defensive coordinator said the deep ball is the lowest percentage completed pass in all of football at all levels. And when you go from a 2nd and 2 and 2 deep balls, and you end up punting, or at least attempting a punt, you give that defense some momentum. But to get a stop right there on 2nd and 2 to play, I told you it was a chess match. It was. They think that they have a better matchup with their corners, and they want you to throw the deep ball instead of running the football.
4th and 2, and they will punt. Let's see if they can place this kick out of bounds inside the 10. Let's see if they call it. Wow, right at the 3-yard line. So a great precision punt by Mitchell Tomasic, who's, again, we said the Eastern punt game was kind of a big question mark, but Tomasic has stepped up and punted very well for the Eagles tonight.
Yeah, and if you think about the history of special teams here in Ypsilanti with these Eagles, I mean, they had some great ones in field goals and punting and guys moving on to the next level and other places. So Coach Creighton takes special teams. I mean, that's his baby. He takes it seriously. And he said, you know, he wasn't sure, but so far I think the punting game has helped him, and you see how they just flipped the field.
So a lot of real estate for the Colonels to work with, starting from their own 3. They'll run on 1st down and get outside the 5, but Sloan is the ball carrier. And Eastern Michigan is not going to make it easy for the Colonels.
Yeah, you have to be careful down here if you're the Colonels, and you actually can use the clock a little bit. Take your time so you can get a glorified timeout in between the quarters if they can maintain the football.
Flags right before the snap. And the Eagle defenders are clapping, so looks like this may go against the visitors.
Full start. Offense for 75. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
So 2nd down and 10. And the Colonels are content to just pound it inside. Obviously, this is not a good place to take a lot of big chances here. Sloan has split the running carries with Keandre McGlure. And they both performed well, but we'll see what the Colonels can get here on a very important 3rd down and 6.
So keep your eyes on Dakota Allen, the tight end here to the bottom of your screen.
Passing out of the end zone, off his back foot, complete. Far side, a sliding catch and a big grab as Edwards makes the catch for Eastern Kentucky. Big sigh of relief.
That was a great job of max protecting on the right side and then throwing an out cut right to the sticks versus soft zone coverage. And I think McKinney has shown that he makes the right reads other than the one pass in the end zone in the first quarter, but he's been throwing the ball extremely well.
They get to the 16, and it's back on the ground as they push ahead with Brandon Sloan, and he gets forced back the other way, and a helmet comes off. That's an Eastern Michigan helmet, so we'll see somebody coming out for one play. Well, he's going to protest.
Came off during the play.
He's got his jersey rolled up, but looks like Jordan Crawford.
She's Sparacio flying around, making a good tackle right there to transfer from Boston College. He's a fast player, standing at 5'11", about 225. He can move.
That's going to end our 3rd quarter of football. So the Colonels will switch sides, and they will be in possession when our 4th quarter begins. A 3rd quarter win for the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. They're up 28-17 with our 4th quarter when we come back. Colonels have the football, but they are on the wrong side of the scoreboard, trailing 28-17. And that 0 in the first quarter for Eastern Michigan was a bigger 0 than the one Eastern Kentucky had. That was a Colonels performance in the first quarter that they could brag about. Eastern could not. So the scoreboard not totally indicative of how even this game has been played. As the Colonels carry and get a little bit on 2nd down, but not a whole lot. And if you're Gary McPeak and the Colonels offensively, you got to be conscious of the clock. You're down 2 scores, so time-consuming drives are not your best friend right now.
Well, this drive started back inside the 5-yard line, and they were able to look for that speed out here to the bottom of your screen.
McKinney with time and throwing too high. That was a small window to throw into. And Jaden Higgins was the intended wideout. And it brings up a 3rd down and 5. Sorry, 4th down and 5.
Yeah, it looked like Parker McKinney's mind was made up pre-snap. That was a tough throw in press coverage with a safety over the top. I'm sure he would like to get that one back, but he had a little more action, I thought, to the bottom of the screen where there was a 2-on-2 with off coverage.
That's the first incompletion by Parker McKinney in this second half. Here's the punt. And again, the punting game has not been strong for Eastern Kentucky. Fair catch by Hassan Badoun. We'll take a timeout here with Eastern leading over EKU. MAC football on ESPN. It's all over the place next Saturday with 6 games on our ESPN streaming platforms. Marcus and I will be in Mount Pleasant for Central Michigan and South Alabama. Ball State and Western play an in-conference game. The Colonels will head back up here to the Midwest and play Bowling Green. And then it's Buffalo, Miami of Ohio, and Toledo all playing at home late in the afternoon and early evening. So here comes EMU with the football and leading by 11 points. And on the ground, they get a good run on first down. And up in East Lansing right now at Spartan Stadium, Broncos are making a game of it with 10 third-quarter points. And that puts them on the wrong side of a 21-13 score against 15th ranked Michigan State.
Tell you what, it's a 4-quarter game, and you have to play to the very last second.
Eastern Michigan shook off the residuals of a bad first quarter, and now they run on second down and they get nothing, as the Colonels are not yielding to the ground game of Eastern Michigan.
That's a great read by Eli Hairston, middle linebacker, 6'3", 230 from my hometown, Columbus, Ohio, Beechcroft High School. That's on the north end. He transferred from Urbana.
You know, stat-wise, this has been a Eastern Kentucky advantage, but with 11 penalties for 103 yards and 2 turnovers, that's a problem. They run in the middle and get ahead for a first down. And again, we saw Jalen Jackson with some big runs in the last series, but now he's off and Samson Evans is back on. So there's a little more balance in the Eastern Michigan running game.
Yeah, and right there they went Wildcat, their goal line set with Samson at running back, the quarterback, the same play he scored on earlier. It's a good call on short yardage.
Taylor Powell handing off. Here's Jackson. Explosion in the middle. Well, there's no doubt that that guy has earned some playing time. And the way he's played, he's going to continue to get playing time.
So he's a transfer from Lamar. He's very explosive. You've seen him in special teams. You've seen him run the ball here. Young man out of Burleson, Texas. You can see that speed, too, and explosion.
Second down and 2. Powell's going to throw. Deep ball in the middle and caught in stride. Falling down to the 5-yard line. And again, the tight end continues to be a presence. That's Andreas Poski on the reception.
You see the free safety right there, Sales. He got caught short, standing flat-footed, and he tried to break on the seam route. Actually fell down. Hayes made a good touchdown saving tackle, but that's a good call. When those tight ends can run seam routes, especially versus a single high safety, it puts a lot of stress on him.
From the 7, throwing far side, and ball is dropped. Drummond with a rare drop. Ball was a little bit behind him. And if he had caught that in stride, he probably would have gotten in.
Eastern Michigan with a little RPO action of their own. Offensive line, they were blocking the run play. I think Powell was a little hesitant, and that's what made that late throw.
Poski brings the Eagles some international flavor, playing or growing up overseas in Copenhagen, Denmark. 2nd and 7. Or 2nd and goal from the 7. Quarterback keep. Touchdown, Taylor Powell.
Coach Creighton giving the Colonels a dose of their own medicine with the quarterback keep. And that's what a successful run game will do. stick that ball in there and pull it. So the Colonels got fooled defensively. It's just triple option football. Someone has to take the dive running back, and then someone's assigned to the quarterback. That's a great play call by Coach Creighton. They're mixing things up down in the goal line area.
7 plays, 63 yards, and the point after is good. And that takes us to a break here in Ypsilanti. 35-17, Eastern up on. (35-17). The Eagles are flying high with 3 second-half touchdowns. Remember, it was 14-10 at the break, so this second half has been a whole lot of Eastern Michigan, and they are glad to overperform after a not-so-great showing in the first quarter.
And they showed a lot of resilience. Coach Creighton, you know, these guys take a lot of pride in winning close games, and they've been in their fair share, but I think they were able to show that they could take a punch in that first quarter. You see yards by the half. It's been a drastic difference there. 240 yards in the first half by Eastern Kentucky. But then here comes Eastern Michigan flipping that right around, and that's been the difference in the scoreboard.
Colonels in the road white uniforms, and that ball is going to not be returned. So Eastern Michigan is going to go on the road for a couple of weeks here as we flash ahead. Road games at Louisiana, then way out west at Arizona State. Then they start the MAC portion of their schedule with a home game against Buffalo here on September 24th.
See the 2 crossover games down there towards the end at Akron, at Kent State. And those games matter too. They've got a tough road schedule. And just like every year, the MAC is unpredictable. You get these preseason rankings and predicted to finish 4th and 5th. The next thing you know, you're tied for first going into November, going into those Tuesday night games.
Yeah, Toledo is predicted to win the MAC West, and Miami winning the MAC East. And pass complete ahead. And again, the Colonels, you know, they've been resilient. Let's take a look at the preseason poll for the Mid-American Conference. And again, actually, well, depending on which, here's the preseason poll that was generated by the media and the league. Northern Illinois predicted to win the West. And again, there's Miami of Ohio predicted to win the East. And Eastern kind of middle of the pack here in the West. There's a little toss and completion. And again, the Colonels are ready to try and keep up, as McGlure is the receiver on that one, and it's another Eastern Kentucky first down.
Yeah, they just shot themselves in the foot and allowed Eastern Michigan to get a 2-3 score lead. But they've shown that they could move the ball. Now Eastern Michigan's been substituting some guys in and out, and you know, you still have to execute. But the Colonels, I think when they go back and watch this film, they're going to feel like they left a lot of meat on the bone, win or lose. There were a lot of missed opportunities. But right now, they're moving and grooving.
From the 42, deep throw in the middle. Great catch again, the tight end, Dakota Allen. He is the difference maker offensively. And again, the coaches tell him, hey, Dakota, sometimes you got to tone it down in practice. That's how vocal and how fiery he is. But tonight, Marcus, his play has backed up his words.
Yeah, and the way that they run him in his routes, like right there, that was a seam route. He followed his own guy up the middle and broke out late, and was essentially a pick play. But this guy is big time. I think he can catch passes, whether it's the group of 5, Power 5, FCS. This man can play football.
Ball is at the 22, and it will relocate after these penalties are figured out. Looks like an offsides by the Colonels.
Snap. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Had a little tempo there. backfired.
Those numbers for Parker McKinney are pretty good. The one pick was the one that really hurt them on their first possession. He threw an interception in the end zone when they could have got points. Little throw underneath, and not much, but a little. And they're shaking things up a little bit. That's Kiki McFadden on the reception. We haven't called his name yet. 2nd and 11. So they only get 4 back. And the clock is running for the Colonels. Throwing again, and incomplete. Going back to McFadden. That one a little bit too much for him. And remember, the Colonels got the first points of this game in the second quarter. But Eastern Michigan kind of found their footing offensively in the second quarter. It was a 14-10 halftime score, and EMU has built off of that with a strong third quarter.
They showed a lot of resilience, though, and gave their defense, well, their defense gave their offense some time to figure some things out and get going without having to play from behind.
McKinney off the back foot, incomplete, looking at Allen.
See right there, Eastern was in their prevent defense where they rush 3 and drop 8. I think if you get 6 or 7 with something underneath, then you can think about a 4-down situation. But if you try to go down the field versus 8 guys dropping, it's not a lot of options. See if he can knock this one in and try to cut into that lead and make it a 2-score game.
So Patrick Nations is on for the field goal attempt.
Nations to attack the field goal.
Kick is up, and it is good.
And it's good.
So the Colonels get 3 points. A 35-20 lead for Eastern Michigan here at the Factory. Regardless of what happens tonight here in Ypsilanti, there's a lot of good football ahead for these Eastern Kentucky fans, the diehards that made the road trip. Tonight, not quite what they thought they were going to get, but they have certainly had a good showing here at Rynerson Stadium.
Jalen Jackson beats.
Yeah, they when they go back and watch the tape, they're going to see a lot of positive things. And for any team, whether you're Eastern Michigan or Eastern Kentucky, you're going to see some mistakes and you're going to see some areas of improvement. But I still think it's a 2-score game. You get a stop, preferably a 3-and-out if you're on defense, so you don't allow them to bleed the clock on you. You got a shot.
So here's what's coming up for the Colonels as they will step back into Big Ten territory next Saturday when they go head-to-head with Bowling Green. Then they're back home for their home opener September 17th against Charleston Southern. And then they'll get into the teeth of their Atlantic Sun schedule.
You know, Eastern Kentucky, I mean, they can go up to Bowling Green and give them a fight, too. I mean, Eastern Michigan is doing some things defensively I think Bowling Green can learn from, but Bowling Green better be careful because Eastern Kentucky, they can move that football and they've got some pieces.
Oh, wide open, tight end catch. Oh, man. Ball is picked up off the turf. That was a great catch. Again, the Eastern Michigan tight end package is prominent. But in the end, the fumble by the tight end Essinger is a takeaway for the Colonels.
And Essinger doesn't get a ton of reps, probably more of a blocker, but right there you got to protect the ball in traffic. Watch the knock, just to reach in and strip it. That was a heads-up play by Nick Cheeley. Just stood there, didn't even attempt to make the tackle. Then that ball will get to bounce, and then the big fella, McClendon. But look how he just reaches in there and strips it out. Didn't even go for the tackle. I mean, that's what you got to do. Flips the field, made a play for his offense, and now you'll see here, watch out for a deep ball up top with that press coverage right after a turnover.
Colonels from their own 42. Or sorry, the Eastern 42. Deep ball, incomplete. Oh, that was almost picked. First, it was almost caught by Jaden Higgins, and then it was almost picked.
Dan, I've been around this game a long time, man. I'll tell you, when there's a turnover, they call it sudden change. When you get the ball on your side of the field, Higgins has got to make that catch. If he does, it's a different ball game immediately. But watch, the ball goes up. Good defense by knocking it out. And then Bogan almost had his second of the day, but that was good defense by Joshua Scott to get his hands on the football.
Yeah, that could have been a big completion. Now deep throw, this near side, incomplete. Oh, man, that is a coulda, woulda, shoulda catch by Dakota Allen. Just mistimed it a little bit.
Hey, short-handed Dakota Allen. Oh, man, but what about the throw there by McKinney? Over the shoulder. I mean, 2 missed opportunities for the Colonels. Give them credit for going after it, though. If you get those big plays and you can save some clock, I mean, that was just a great effort there.
Dakota Allen's a big talker, but he's not saying much after that non-catch. 3rd and 10. Colonels trying to make something big happen after the turnover. They're trailing by 15. First down catch. The Colonels hook up with Jerron Mitchell.
He threw a strike on that one, Dan. I mean, and right now, Parker McKinney, he's in the rhythm. Even when his guys are dropping the big passes, he stood in that pocket and delivered a strike right across the middle to Mitchell.
Hey, let's be honest. Colonels get a touchdown here. It's a 1-score game.
With plenty of time left.
McKinney, a lot of time and a little off target. And a late flag. And Allen was the intended wideout. Again, he is a very enthusiastic performer, if you will.
Hey, I'll tell you, he may have a job in Hollywood if after his days on Sunday if he gets the shots.
Yeah, that's
a good call.
That is a good call, yeah.
15-yard
when you're it's not just holding the jersey when you're pulling.
Yeah.
That's a freebie.
And actually, Klein's got to, play a little better in space there and move his feet. And he didn't have to panic necessarily, but sometimes you'll rather get the penalty than they let him catch and run. But I'm not sure if Dakota Allen would have been able to stay on his feet if he made that grab.
Ball is at the 13-yard line. The Colonels continue to be vigilant as they are threatening to cut into the Eastern lead, 35-20. And fade route and caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Dakota Allen. He makes up for the drop with an awesome touchdown catch.
They're going to take a look at this one. I believe.
Oh, that's a catch. Unless he juggled it on his way down.
But that was a good audible, though, by Parker McKinney. He was able to recognize present danger at the line of scrimmage. Knew pressure was coming. Ran the wheel route. Oh, that's a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's a clear touchdown. Baby. And that's a great catch after missing the one opportunity.
Yeah. He can start chirping again.
Yeah. He threw him up right there. Touchdown, and it's a 1-score game.
Interesting. Would you have gone for 2?
No. You got to give your guys a chance.
All right. 35-27. The Colonels still fighting here at Eastern Michigan.
Time on the field.
Yeah, the Colonels are all business. And they lead. They are trailing 35-27. There's the short scoring drive that happens after an Eastern Michigan fumble.
Costly fumble, too. And Eastern Kentucky missed 2 big opportunities in the pass game. And this guy, McKinney, just stuck with it. You'll see it coming up here shortly after the kick. He is playing his butt off. But you got to go back to the defensive turnover, just the heads-up play by Nick Shealy.
So a little more pressure on Eastern Michigan as the ball bounces out of bounds for no return. Here is the work of Dakota Allen, who is the heart and soul. As we
Kick off out of bounds. Kicking team by rule.
We take a look at Mr. Allen's
35-yard line.
handiwork this evening here in Ypsilanti. Big talker, but a big game as well, Marcus.
Yeah, and he's got the game to back it up. He can catch the deep one. You see the intermediate route there, and then he gets up and he's in your face. I mean, he's wolfing, but he's making the plays over two guys right there. I might have got up and said something too. I mean, he's a fiery guy down the middle there, and then you'll see coming up the big one. Very clutch over the shoulder catch. A lot of concentration. I just think he's a matchup problem, man. He has good size, good route runner. You see he's over there.
Heavy breathing.
He's one of the leaders of this operation. 6 for 187, averaging 14 and a half. Drawing penalties and everything.
First down throw, crossing route for the tight end, and a big pickup for Eastern Michigan. That was the fumble. That was the fumble earlier, but this guy, 82, Gunnar Oates. Well, I'm really impressed with all of the Eastern tight ends tonight, Marcus.
Exactly right, and give Coach Creighton some credit by calling essentially a tight end screen, letting those guys penetrate and throwing it over their heads and those receivers blocking. But these tight ends have done well in the run game too.
Ball right at midfield. Boy, Ian, you would love to use some clock and get some points. On the ground. Boy, they just push the pile straight ahead. They almost get a first down on that run with Samson Evans, who's carried a lot of this pigskin for Eastern tnight. He and Jalen Jackson are the real stories of the Eastern ground game. Well, I can imagine if they ever put two of those guys in the same backfield, that would be a real problem matching up for Eastern Kentucky.
Where you're going to see this offense milk some clock, especially if they get another first down here. They're going to take their time, run that play clock all the way down to 3 seconds and snap it.
Evans on the carry, steps out, and now he steps into a big hole. Inside the 30, down to about the 26. First down, Eagles.
Colonel's wearing down a little bit up front. They've been out there in the second half dealing with this run game by the Eastern Michigan Eagles. And Eastern Michigan has a plethora of running backs too, so they can put some fresh legs in there and ground and pound, give you a little thunder and lightning with Jalen Johnson and Samson Evans.
Eagles moving to the 28, and right in the backfield. Boy, I'll tell you what, let's give credit where credit is due, as the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, really, by Kelton Dawson.
Big fella coming off his defensive end position and transfer out of Georgia Tech. And he showed some explosion on that play. Watch the hard count here. Second down, screen and draw down.
3-yard loss, but the clock keeps rolling. That's a plus for Eastern Michigan. 4:38. Powell with time. Now he throws, safe underneath. Again, the tight end catch. That's Oaks. Or sorry, not Oaks, but Evans out of the backfield.
That's a good choice right there, too, by Powell, because that was a check down route. They took away the two-man side. Tired defense looked to their left and forgot about the running back slipping out. Evans, he's a short-handed guy, too. Not only does he run inside, you see his numbers, 14 for 75, 2 touchdowns, and then he had a nice catch and run right there.
Timeout for injured player on defense.
So the Colonels have a player down near their bench at about the 15-yard line. So again, this is like the unavoidable week 1 health scenario, which is cramps.
long game, physical, knockdown, drag out, one-score game, and it's not over. I mean, Eastern Michigan has to take care of the football and try to run some more clock here. It's a critical third down here. Essentially, that's a glorified timeout for the Colonels to figure it out, as well as the Eagles. Be interesting to see what Coach Creighton comes up with, as that's Blunt getting escorted off the field. He's had a pretty solid day. He gave up a play or two, but thought he had a pretty decent outing.
Well, if Eastern Kentucky has a defensive stance to make,
then you got, you know, if Eastern Michigan does not get this first down, they're obviously in field goal range. It'll be interesting to see how these next series of plays play out. But if I'm Eastern Kentucky, I'm not going to sit back and watch. I'm actually going to blitz here, and it'll be a feast or famine type situation. See that one-on-one matchup at the top. They're not opposed to going up deep, up top, especially with the safety in the middle of the field. That's straight one-on-one.
So the game clock is running for Eastern. 3.5 minutes left. If they get points, that's going to put a whole bunch of pressure. Now a deep throw, end zone, jump ball, caught. Touchdown, Eastern Michigan. Man, a high-risk throw, but a big reward as Hassan Benoun makes the catch and gives EMU an insurance score. Man, that was a huge risk, but a great read and catch.
I'm not so sure it was intended for Benoun. He just threw it up and came down with it. I mean, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but what about the concentration and over the shoulder? Powell just let it go and said, my guy's going to go over top of your guy. That's a great catch.
So there's 4 players in the vicinity, 2 green jerseys, 2 white jerseys. I hope a green jersey catches it. Otherwise, I'm going to get chewed out by coach.
That's what it looked like. But sometimes those receivers will bail you out. But actually, Powell threw the ball in no man's land. And when you watch, he had plenty of time and kind of figured Cardinals were coming with pressure. But this looks like
he got hit by his own guy. I don't know if Taylor Powell's in the habit of taking his wide receivers out for a steak dinner, but I might take him out for that. Maybe not a steak dinner, but somewhere nice.
Use one of those meal cards that they give you.
Not a dorm meal. We're going off campus.
And that was a good call, I thought, defensively, to bring some pressure, but put a lot of pressure on your corners. And that was a jump ball that could have went either way. But I kind of figured Coach Creighton would go up top, expecting pressure and then seeing press coverage.
Well, we still have 3 minutes and change for Eastern Kentucky.
Penalty marker on the play for the kickoff out of bounds.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
So let's see how things played out for Eastern Michigan's quarterback, Taylor Powell. First quarter, forgettable. Ever since, pretty good.
Yeah, he's been pretty on the money, and it looks like he settled down and just found his rhythm. Has a lot to do with play calling. Then you just want to get the ball in some of your playmakers' hands, like right there. You see Dylan Drummond on a double move. Look at a great throw down the seam to his big tight end, and right here, when you got the hot hand, just let it rip sometimes. You know, if you got playmakers on the outside, they'll come down with it.
And running and now throwing on first down. Well, that play was busted, but Parker McKinney able to make something good come out of it on the completion of Braden Sloan. There's Powell's numbers, 21 of 30. That's a pretty good stat line, especially considering that the first quarter was kind of a goose egg.
They didn't have the ball very much either.
Soft throw underneath, complete, but a hard tackle made, so not much after the catch for Jaron Mitchell.
Ironically enough, the game's not over. You you still have to get a stop if you're Eastern Michigan. You don't want to give them a score and then let them try to get an onside kick. You got to play football still.
And McKinney throwing again. Boy, watch that. That's, whoa. Things getting chippy. The completion is to Mo Edwards. And no flags on that play, but boy, they could have thrown multiple flags. McKinney steps up, traffic, and he gets out of it. Wow, complete. Almost to the first down marker. That play had bust written all over it. Sloan on the catch. He eludes the rush, throws in an awkward position and still gets positive yardage. But the clock is running, 2nd and 3.
Well, I think Eastern Michigan has to do one of two things. You either rush 4, because that 3-man rush, it was effective there, but they're underneath droppers. They need to squeeze those intermediate routes a little bit sooner.
Quick throw to Sloan, who dropped it. He was open. Clock stops, but it brings up 3rd down and 3.
Four-down territory here. You want to work the clock. You still have 3 timeouts. Work the sidelines here.
Good throw. 1st down to Dakota Allen. Clock stops to move the chains.
Well, the deep ball definitely isn't there, but McKinney still has plenty of time to throw the football and work it underneath.
And, almost picked off. Oh, he read it very well. The intended receiver was Mo Edwards. And Vaden was about to pick that and turn that into something big. Oh.
Sorry, his hands on the ball. That's a missed opportunity. Gutsy throw. I mean, it was a high risk. But with 2-3 safeties back there, it's going to be tough to complete that one.
Came into that window a little too late, and Vaden almost made him pay a big price for it. Underneath, and hit hard, and out of bounds is Braden Sloan. Clock stops with 1:30. Well, one thing we know about,
timeout.
we got an injured
Good player on offense.
Eastern player. That's Taylor Powell, who's gone down with, at this point of the game, I feel like I'm an expert on cramps.
Oh, yeah. We've seen a lot.
That's not Taylor Powell. That's McKinney. Right. Wrong quarterback. But it seems like cramps, it's always a week 1 thing.
Peyton Collins, that's the big lineman too. Yeah, that's one.
Oh, that's a lineman? Okay, sorry. Couldn't
see
ID
the
him
74
properly.
on his helmet.
Well,
that's the only way I
yes,
saw
thank
it.
you. Well, I guess what I feel like is I'm going to work my way through the roster anyway with everyone who's getting cramps. So eventually your number comes up.
It'll be interesting to see here too if there's a charged timeout with an injury this late in the quarter.
So they're going to get him back up.
Please adjust the game clock to 1:32. 1:32.
So Collins will walk off.
Big fella, Columbus, Ohio. Hartley High School. Do you know I went to junior
Back
high?
in your stomping ground.
Yeah, I went to junior high school right across the street from Hartley. I'm talking about from here to the sideline. It's a good program down there in Columbus too.
Boy, look at that. That's after the first quarter. I don't think we would get big numbers like that for either team, especially from Eastern Michigan. 3rd and 7 as the Colonels try to make something big happen. And throwing on the run, caught, and that's Allen again. and he gets out of bounds.
I just don't think you can really just sit there in zone coverage and just stand there and watch. These guys are running around. And actually, McKinney had an opportunity to run that football, but not with old D.A. Give him the nickname Dakota Allen. I bet they call him D.A.
Hey, look, if Eastern Kentucky gets in the end zone, we've got an onside kick coming. And there's a catch inside the 10. So the Colonels are showing no hesitation about keeping this game interesting to the final minute. Second, Cornelius McCoy on that catch.
See some wholesale changes by the Eagles. Oh, they got caught with 12 on the field.
End zone, touchdown. Flags on the play. So we're going to sort this out. That's Dakota Allen, who's putting the whole team for Eastern Kentucky on his shoulders.
Makes you kind of wonder that when you're in that area of the field, that's a long way to go to have to substitute.
Legal substitution on defense. 12 players on field at the snap. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So here's the play again with, wow.
That's a big time throw and catch. Good route too. I mean, just attacking the middle of the field and even still rushing 3 people. You got to tighten up the underneath coverage when the field gets short.
PAT is good. And we are not done. And we have got a little extracurriculars going. And
Coach McPeak.
Cooler heads prevail, but well, I'll tell you what, for all the unfortunate turmoil that has come upon the Eastern Kentucky football program this week, again with Walt Wells, who suffered went into cardiac arrest on Sunday, and with Gary McPeak, who is the acting head coach. What a heavy week it's been for everyone in the program. And for them to come out, they played so well in the first quarter and have now shown a whole lot of tenacity and determination to keep this game within reach. And by all means, it is in reach. 11 plays, 65 yards in 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
And they didn't struggle. I mean, they took what the defense gave them, and I think it really cost Eastern Michigan, some points and put themselves in harm's way. You have to tighten up that defense, especially when a team gets in rhythm. They can only send out 5 and you're dropping 8. That gives you the opportunity to kind of squeeze some of those routes.
So here comes the onside kick. Ball is safely caught. So always a tough play to execute, and Eastern Michigan's going to cover that and take a knee.
Well, they still have to run some plays because there's 3 timeouts for the Colonels. There's an excellent job of fielding that high bouncing onside kick. I mean, this one's not over. I mean, and you have to be smart as far as if you do run the play, the Colonels have to try to.
And right now, Dakota Allen's probably on that visitor sideline going, hey, just give me one more shot.
That's all. One more. I mean, he had a day.
30-second. Charge timeout. Eastern Michigan. Their first of the half.
So Dakota Allen is their leading receiver, 9 catches for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Game changer.
Matchup problem all day long.
X factor.
Yeah. I mean, and I think they struggled when they went away from him for about a quarter and a half. He was a forgotten man. And when he makes his presence known, you're going to see it and you're going to feel it. He's tatted up, too. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Swagged out. I think his bite matched his bark. I mean, he wasn't afraid. You see the numbers, 9 for 118, 2 touchdowns. just causing havoc all over the field. So,
And you know, we've talked about the emotional carryover for the Eastern Kentucky program. One thing, you know, with Walt Wells not being here due to health reasons, the one thing, as Eastern runs for a positive run on first down, the one thing that Walt Wells has reinstalled back into this Colonels program is
charge timeout. Eastern
toughness.
Kentucky. They're first. For the half.
You know, we heard from Gary McPeak earlier this week. He said, look, this was a program whose identity was not rooted in toughness until Walt Wells got here. And you can see that regardless of what the outcome is, this Eastern Kentucky Colonels team is going to be a handful for everybody they get going forward, starting with Bowling Green next weekend, and then when they roll into the Atlantic Sun in a few weeks.
Oh, definitely. And I think the showing that they displayed tonight is going to give them a lot of confidence moving forward in their schedule. If they clean up some of those mental errors, but they've shown that they can fight back, they can move the football, they can take a punch from a team like Eastern Michigan and still have a chance to even get the ball back. They have to get a stop here. Can't give up 6 more yards.
On the ground, big hole in the middle. First down. So that is a dagger. The Colonels are going to go down swinging.
Charge timeout. Eastern Kentucky. They're second for the half.
Here is what is on the MAC schedule tomorrow. As the longest weekend of the college football season continues, a handful of games, almost everybody on the road except for Ohio. We already promoted that game with the Florida Atlantic. Everybody else is playing away, with Maryland, UCLA, Kentucky, and Washington all hosting MAC schools.
I tell you, keep an eye on that Miami at Kentucky. I mean, Chuck Martin, what he's done with that program in 9 years is phenomenal. And it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a hostile environment. Kentucky's got a pretty good quarterback. You got anything can happen. I mean, Eastern Michigan is the one program in the MAC that has 3 wins, you know, over Big Ten schools in recent years. And I mean, so anything can happen. I mean, but I think Miami has a good chance going down there because that's a tough football team.
Eastern probably wishes they had more Big Ten teams on their schedule.
Set the play
I
clock.
think the Big Ten they stopped scheduling Eastern Michigan.
Right.
They didn't want that smoke with old Coach Creighton and those guys taking them down.
Yeah.
The lights are
Beating the Big
kept
Ten
on the
teams
field.
on the road is becoming the norm for this coach in this program, who again has stabilized everything here in Eastern Michigan, and he's very humble about the improvements that he is individually responsible for. It's really all about creating the culture. He's gotten the
30
support
seconds.
he's needed from the athletic
Charge
department.
timeout. Eastern Kentucky.
And again,
Their
the
third
money does
and
not
final
flow as
timeout
easily in
for
the
that.
Mid-American Conference as it does in the Big Ten and the SEC and the other Power Fives that are swimming in TV money. And here's kind of a stat that Chris should be aware of if he's not. Look at the career wins he's had. Again, not all of them here at Eastern Michigan. But in 8 years here, he is in some rare air with some very good coaches.
Yeah, I mean, guys that have been in the game for a long time and had some success. And one of the things that I think everyone should appreciate about Eastern Michigan's administration is they stuck with him. I mean, you know, when you're at the same school for 8-9 years, you turn the program around, you start going to bowl games, as you see those banners hanging around the stadium. It's just one of those things where you have to give some of these coaches time. And same thing happened at Miami with Chuck Martin. He got in there, he had to change the culture, and he looked up, and 9 years later, he's right there. And so Chris Creighton has done a fine job with this program. And he recruits people. He recruits the right fit for his program. It's not always about the best football player. He wants locker room guys that are going to enhance the culture here that they've all built. And he's been able to relatively keep his staff together, too. He's lost a few guys here and there, but these guys have been together for a while.
And so Eastern Michigan is going to bleed the clock out and get out with a bumpy ride, but it is a week 1 W for Chris Creighton and the Eastern Michigan Eagles as they take out Eastern Kentucky. So it didn't start well, but it ends just fine for the Eagles, who really put the game away with a strong third quarter. And they will move on to road games for the next 2 weekends.
Well, one of the things I think both coaches are going to be able to do when they watch the film is they have situations on film: 3rd and short, 2nd and long, special teams, long yardage situations. And you know, I think there was a lot that's going to be taken from both teams, and I expect both of them to show much improvement going into week 2.
Thank you so much to my partner, Marcus Ray. We've had a great night here at Eastern Michigan. I'm Dan Gutowski. We say so long from Ypsilanti. Our final score: Eastern Michigan 42, Eastern Kentucky 34. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app.